Oh, hello. Uh-oh. Uh, I missed one. Dang it.
Yeah, you missed your own.
Oh, man.
Of all the ones to miss, I can't take it
You know,
anywhere.
I did it okay the other day. It's just the thing is when I'm just streaming by myself, I only I only have like I have to turn up the music and I have to turn my mic on. And when we stream because I use a couple of different apps, I have to turn it off, turn it on multiple places. So, I've explained this before. I should stop making excuses for myself and just get it right.
Well, but I mean, we're here, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the AV checks, Druid. We're making Druid work 7 days a week now.
What would we do without Druid, though? And LJ, I mean, like,
Oh my goodness, something's happening.
what
Oh,
is...
Mardim! Hello, hello.
Oh, you're
So
dual streaming.
I am dual
I was like,
streaming. Sorry, guys, I didn't mention that. Druid checked AV on both places, and Mardim is here with Twitch, and I think LJ's here with YouTube. I love it when we've got people like
oh yeah, your Mardim subscribing just showed up on the screen.
yeah, it's interesting because
So
I'm using Restream, so I'm never sure what's happening in either place. I just see it all. So
all of the things. I notice like I'm looking
yeah.
very dark right now because I'm not facing the window. But don't worry, at some point my view is going to change.
You overcast today? We've got sort of
No,
rainy overcast sort of.
I'm just not
Hmm.
facing my face isn't facing the windows. Hi, Robin.
Yeah. Hey,
Usually
Robin.
I'm sitting on the other side of the couch where the bookshelf would be behind me. Right now it's right in front of me. And then
Yep,
the
that's right.
lighting,
Yeah.
yeah, the lighting from you would be fantastic. I can certainly like readjust to do that. Um, I sat here though because I had a box.
A box
I had a box that is here,
unopened.
unopened.
You know, I.
I I did it on purpose. It just came here. I did it on
Oh,
purpose.
okay, okay. I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
have a certain amount of self control, but I feel like anytime I get something in the mail, whether I'm expecting it or not, like I might do things like, okay, you have to go clean the bathroom before you're allowed to open that box, but I have
Oh,
to tear into it.
if it's something that like I know what it is and like I don't need it right now, then I don't. Now, if it makes you feel any better, when I get a box from you, I open it right away.
Because you
Okay?
want to see, is it a real present or is it a box of trash?
But no, this just came and I saved it for this.
This is
Um,
exciting. Yeah, because I
yeah.
I don't buy anything right now, so I don't have any funds. So I haven't gotten very many boxes lately.
Well, so I maybe it was on one of the was it on a Tuesday night stream? I forget. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned to you guys that I accidentally
Oh
won
yes, I was
an
about to say,
auction.
did you not accidentally win an auction?
I accidentally won two.
Okay.
I can open the other box too if you want. But this box I just was like, "Oh yeah, I need to open that box." Um but yeah, I accidentally won some auctions and people I'm sure like LJ and Druid and Robin are over there going like, "What do you mean you accidentally?" So there is a Facebook group that I'm in that hosts auctions on like Sundays. And
Hmm.
I don't interact with the group super often, so they don't show up on my feed a whole lot. And I don't know, like this is the Sunday before last, something like that. And I'm just, cruising on Facebook and I see a one of the listings that is something I would be interested in. I'm like, oh, and I'm like looking at it and I like then like go into the group to like look at the rest of the feed and I totally didn't remember what the rules of this group were or like when does it end or anything. So I'm thinking like, oh, I've probably missed this because like I see other bids and stuff,
Hmm.
but not a lot of bids and the bids were pretty low. So I was just like, I don't see like anything on their feed that says like it's closed. So I'm like, this one particular thing, I'm like, I'm just gonna bid on it. The worst that's gonna happen is they're gonna tell me like I was too late.
Hmm.
So I decided to like throw in a bed, and then I see something else, and I was like, oh, that's really low. I'm like, I'm gonna throw a bit on that too. And I started to look like a little bit deeper, and I started to find like more stuff, but I was just like, just this is good. And then like within like 5 minutes, I get two notifications
That you
that
won.
I've won the bids. And I was like, oh, I came in at the last 5 minutes and was
Yeah,
just like,
it's well.
whoops.
When that happens,
Um,
I feel like it was meant to be, I guess, you know?
well, the thing that was the kicker for me, because it's one of those like I really didn't think I was gonna get either of them, let alone both of them. My brain wasn't in that space. But it was also the day that I had gone out and like bought a car. So I was like, I was like, oh, bye money. Like apparently I hadn't spent enough that day that I was like,
Well, you
oh,
didn't you didn't get like the full-blown sports and entertainment package on your car, so you had to buy some whatever antique needlework entertainment package for your car.
well, and you know what's funny is, and I didn't get the grand schmaboozle on a car, and it was still a stupid amount of money. The
Yeah,
last time I
cars
bought a
cost
new
too much
car, which
money.
was 10 years ago, 11 years ago, um, it was $6,000 less than it was. Like I understand with like, the way the world works, that's really not too bad in 11 years, but
Yeah.
I was still just like my eyes kind of bugged out of my head and I was like, I don't want to spend this much money on a
Cars are
car.
a scam, you guys. Like and it's unfortunate. Like I mean, really look at it's hard to not unless you live in a highly dense urban center like New York City or
Oh
Philadelphia
yeah, we're
or
a car centric
DC.
nation.
Yeah, you like. I mean, where I live, you can't get anywhere. Even if you lived in the city of Baltimore, you still need to use public transportation or something. And Baltimore's a fairly small city compared to like something like Chicago or New York. And yeah, our public transportation is terrible. Our bus system is terrible. Even though the bus does come where I live, my son doesn't drive, so he takes the bus everywhere, and it's just terrible. And it's like, then cars, they cost a lot. You can't maintain them yourself anymore. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather and my father-in-law, up until very recently, did all the repairs on their cars, changed the oil, the brakes, all that stuff themselves. You just can't do that now. Like, even if you're really handy, you still have to spend
Mhm.
money to take the car to some place where they plug it into a computer and stuff. These cars are a scam.
All that planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
mean, Druid knows. We both drive very old Subarus, and I know you're a Subaru gal too. And you
Hmm.
just drive them until they, I guess, well, mine, knock on wood, mine's still here. So,
Well, and that's the only reason I went and bought one because mine died. And I mean, like, it's funny, like you get that, don't buy a new car and this and that. And I'm like, the only reason I buy a brand new car is because I'm going to drive it till it dies.
yeah, you
I'm
put a lot of
I'm
miles. You
not
drive a lot, so.
Yeah, I'm not one of those that like wants a new car every 2 years. That's
Mara Dim drives old Subarus too. So like, yeah, okay. We all start to
hey,
find
I drive Subarus because they will run on hopes and dreams.
exactly.
Yeah.
Every time we think that we found our people, we find out something new about each other where we're like, okay, we've cemented this again. We're all a bunch of
Yeah.
Subaru weirdos.
Yeah. All right, I am opening
All right, open.
said
While you're
pepperoni.
opening, I will show you the tiny items I've been working on. I've made a tiny pot holder
Oh my God.
for Abe, and of
For
course,
Abe. Why does Abe need a tiny
well,
pot holder?
Abraham. I have to remember his name is not Abe, it's Abraham. Because Abe's got some cooking to do. So it fits, but I think I kind
It
of
almost kind of looks like he's wearing a cactus.
it looks like a mitten. Yeah, I this fabric is so cute, but yeah. Um, but it fits, but I think it's a little too tight. So like I'm working on I started another little template last night, and so he's got a bigger one that's got bananas. So he's got cooking to do though. He's got tiny food to cook, and
No,
Mary.
I need to remember that if there are times that I call you and you don't answer the phone, it's because you're probably doing something like this.
Yeah, it usually is. I mean, I do get very entrenched in my projects, and sometimes, I mean, I'm working on my study quilt, and I mean, like, I'm like, oh God, I'm under the gun to get that done. And
When does it have to be done by?
September is when it has to go. Like, it gets shipped. I guess to Portland. I can't remember where we send them to, because they do get shown at the Portland seminar. So all that, you know, I mean, I have time, but I have to do my little write-up by May, and that also I have time, and I've already kind of been writing it in my head. But I just look at the calendar, and I'm like, I mean, everybody who comes to my stream knows every stream I start with, how did it get to be Monday already? Oh my God, where'd the week go? It's Thursday. And it's like you blink and the calendar is.
Well, it's not like you don't have a couple of long plane rides coming up
I know.
that you could work on it there. Like, is it small enough you can work on it on a
Oh
plane?
yeah, because I'm doing I'm probably going to be doing some machine machine assembly, but it is primarily an applique quilt. So yeah, I do have things, but I also have stuff that I'm gonna have to do on a machine, so I have to split that stuff up. So anyway, this really does look like a cactus.
Yeah, from far away. Robin agrees with me.
Yeah, Druid and I have the same forester. I think yours is a different color. Mine's blue. Well, it used to be blue. It's blue and primer now.
Okay.
Yeah. What you got?
Stop packing peanuts.
Aww. I saw. Now, are they those corn ones, or are they the actual styrofoam ones?
They're pink.
The bad ones. Because you know, my Google stream, I saw, and I never got a chance to go back and read the article. And you know, sometimes those clickbaity things, you never know. But the article, basically, the headline was something to the effect: people are seasoning those corn-based packing peanuts and eating them. And have you ever tasted one of those?
No, I can't say I have.
Well, first of all,
like, what kind of question is that?
the sanitary conditions of those are questionable. I mean, people pack them around old junk.
Oh, that's the only issue?
I mean, they're just cornstarch. They're just made out of cornstarch. You expect them to taste like...
Where am I going to put these so I can get the stupid thing out of the box?
Oh.
That's what I hate about them.
Yeah, I hate packing peanuts so much.
I'm literally just like putting them in a pile on the couch next to me right now.
All right, so I guess I have shared too much about my weird proclivities, but the thing is, those packing peanuts are made out of cornstarch. They are indeed edible. They taste nasty.
That's not a reason to eat them.
Well, I mean, hasn't anybody ever taken a little nibble of a dog cookie, like a dog? Just like, well, the dogs like them. What do they taste like? Oh, that's not bad.
No. I mean, my aunt ate one once accidentally because she had like chips in one hand and a dog treat in the other one, but like, all right, I gotta go.
Okay, now I know where the line is.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about gross things than, you know, guys, I am supposed to like share an Airbnb with this girl coming up, and actually more than one, and I'm very much questioning the decisions I've made in my life.
Like, I have never nibbled dog food.
Like, everybody made popcorn, we're gonna watch a movie, and I'm like, why is it pink? And she's like, just shut up and eat it. Like,
why does it smell like kibbles and bits?
Yeah, like, why does it smell like Amazon truck? Like,
oh my God, Druid said, never on purpose. I gulped down a cat treat in the dark because I thought it was an ibuprofen. Oh, come on, you guys. Like, look, I do not open the cat food and think like, let me take a bite.
Oh my, yeah, you do. Like, you are so that person.
But the thing is, dog treats, sometimes they're more like a bland cookie, just because of what dogs eat. Now, what cats eat, but what dogs eat is closer to human food. And some of the dog treats they make are super close to human food. They just don't have the sugar because, sugar's not good for dog. It's not good for humans, but not good for dogs. But like, have you ever seen the Oreos for dogs? Those taste just like a peanut butter cookie. And it's not like I'm snacking on this stuff.
The more you try to defend yourself, the worse it gets.
Every now and then you're just curious, right? It's not like I snack on this stuff. It's just every now and then you're like,
you know way too much about this topic. Well,
let's go back to chicken sandwiches.
We're coming out swinging, everybody. The rest of the stream will be boring from here on out. And I'm just still here removing Stephanie snacks.
Now, those are not made out of actual food items. Those are not potent potables.
No, Robin, I will not trust any snacks. And it's funny. Stephanie and I often talk about like purse food and like having snacks with you, like because when you don't know if you need a snack. But like if I see her munching on cookies,
or
I'm gonna be like, you brought your wishbones with you? Did you?
Cake, is that a vegan strip?
Well, I'm gonna and everybody, don't you worry. I will make sure to use this information to embarrass Stephanie any chance I get.
There we go.
I'm gonna be, what? If we do another like social media class kind of lecture thing at AQSG seminar, like in the beginning, I'm gonna sneak in a slide, like when we start. This is like sponsored by like Kibbles and Bits.
You're awful. Awful, all of you.
We're awful, dude. Did you hear the words before they came out of your mouth?
I'm gonna find that article and I'm gonna tell you guys I'm not alone.
The thing is that first you started out talking about eating trash, literal like packing trash, and then you thought to yourself, you know what will make this seem normal is if I talk about eating dog treats. That's what will make it normal. By the way, I'm still pulling this crap out of this freaking box. Ugh. I mean, to be fair, he did pack my thing really good, but like, packing peanuts have their time and place, but like, this was not necessary for this particular item. I have had someone use packing peanuts too to ship a quilt.
What?
They were worried the edges of the quilt were gonna get damaged.
But the only thing that needs to go in a quilt is something plastic to keep it from getting dirty.
Robin says this is the best food discussion ever. Robin, it is quite different from the ones we've had before.
Here's the article. I'm gonna share it. Let's see if I can share it in the Restream chat. I don't know if this. Let's see.
And what is this article supposed to be?
It's Vice.
Jan, run away. Save yourself. You don't want to be part of the discussion. Take people with you.
Yeah, Jan, she's right. So it's a Vice article, and the title is "People Are Seasoning Packing Peanuts and Eating Them." The picture shows those biodegradable ones, and here's what they say. Not sure if anyone told you, but you're absolutely not supposed to eat those packing peanuts. Yeah, they're not real peanuts. They're actually made of styrofoam, which you don't want to consume. At least you shouldn't want to consume them. You might think this warning is unnecessary, but apparently there's a growing trend of eating different packing peanuts on TikTok, because where else would this be happening? Or at Cake's house. This habit seems to have originated from the brand Lush, a company that claims to use edible packing peanuts. Again, these are not real peanuts, but rather vegetable starch-based alternatives, which still don't necessarily equate to safe consumption. Other brands are using biodegradable packing peanuts that are better for the environment, but still not recommended to eat. While the non-styrofoam ones might not harm you, see, they're not harmful. I haven't made a whole meal of them. I've just been like, it doesn't.
Who are you trying to convince, us or you?
It doesn't mean you should eat them. I mean, they're just tossed freely into a package that's been who knows where, sitting around for who knows how long. Not to mention, health experts warn that even those deemed edible and safe for consumption can still have adverse health effects. Um, so the nurse practitioner adds the ingredients in biodegradable packing peanuts. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this thing. She says that vegetable oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, blah, 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 blah. She adds that the ingredients in biodegradable packing peanuts like cornstarch, potato starch, vegetable oil, wheat starch, and other plant-based materials are heated to extremely high levels, often producing a known carcinogen known as acrylamide. Still, people are tempted to try them, seasoning them with hot sauce. I swear I never ate a Tide Pod.
Oh, because that would be wrong.
So not gluten-free. No, they are not gluten-free. Mario Dim says shuffle packing peanuts into a grocery bag. Yeah, that's what I do as well. You have to sort of skim them off the top.
I know, I didn't have anything here with me, so there's literally, you guys, hold on.
You're sitting in a sea of them.
Yeah, there is literally just this pile of packing peanuts next to me that I will then put back in the box.
Robin,
when I pull this thing out of the box. Yeah, Steph,
you made a nest.
I think it's time that like maybe we friend other people, like, you know. Because there's no part of right now that makes me go, you know, like, oh wait, it needs salt. Like, you're gonna find some and you're gonna bring them somewhere now, aren't you?
And I'm gonna force you to taste them. We're gonna have a taste test.
There's no, I don't need to test. And no. Oh, this is actually a little smaller than I thought it was.
Beware my snack mix.
Yeah, seriously.
It's packing peanuts and dog food.
Like, don't trust anything. Okay, hold on. Now, before I open that, you guys, now you have to wait while I put all these stupid things back in here. And I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing else in the bottom.
Right, Jan? So Jan says, like rice cakes. They're like rice cakes.
Jan, you better not be over here defending this nonsense. Like, we're not going to trust you either.
Oh my gosh.
Like, can we go back to the days when you used to talk about all the different places to get chicken? Well, yeah, see, Robin says that I refuse to fall to peer pressure. Robin, does that mean that you're going to fall to peer pressure and there's going to be like a...
You complain when I talk about chicken sandwiches because then you're hungry. So I'm talking about eating non-edible things, and you should be happy because you're going to leave this stream going like, ugh. And I did
actually eat right before. I was actually telling Stephanie before we started here that I've been like super productive today. Like, I got up and I took the dog for an adventure in the woods, and I made myself breakfast, and like I've already had my coffee. It was amazing. And now I am spending my time talking about edible styro. Wow. You know, you just never know what's going to happen in the world today, let me tell you.
I mean, come on, you guys. Times are tough. Snacks are expensive.
So, Stephanie, this is now just a box of packing peanuts. You want me to send this to you, sweetheart, for, you know, like...
Just
I really did send you a box of trash for snacks.
Bring them with you to Lincoln. Oh my goodness. So Robin says she likes rice cakes, or some kinds of rice cakes, but she refuses to try edible foam peanuts. Look, you guys, it's not like I've been tossing them back like a snack. The fact is,
you've been busy eating dog treats.
In my defense, I have not eaten a dog treat. Okay, so I tried dog food when I was about 8. Because I used to be babysat by this woman that had a beagle, and me and the beagle were besties. And I would get sent to give the beagle some, you know, it's dry food and treats and stuff. And I'm like, Ginger, that looks like really delicious food. I'm going to try that. Cheese-flavored dog kibble, I mean, who can resist? But as far as, like, actual dog biscuits,
I can resist.
I'm telling you, the kind of dog treats that they sell. Now, I'm not talking about things like a dried pig's ear or something awful.
Oh yeah,
The,
because that would be weird.
I'm serious. The dog treats that are made out of things like oats and, you know, omnivorous sort of foods are really and truly not terrible. And
Oh yeah, what the thing that was the issue was that they were terrible.
well, I mean,
No,
it,
no, 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 just stop.
if it's good enough for humans, it's really good enough for pets. And I like almost think vice versa. But the problem with some animal foods is they put this really smelly, it's like a really smelly like attractant in them. I know cat food especially. They put something in it called cat crack. That's why cat food stinks so bad. Because it's enticing to cats.
Because cats need crack in order to be like, it's probably good for me if I eat some food. All right, I think I got all the peanuts. Okay, gee. I didn't know that was going to be such a um
No, I have just made myself the butt of many future jokes, I know.
Oh yeah, dude. You're like instead of Stephanie Cake, we're gonna call you Stephanie Styrofoam. Stephanie Peanut. Stephanie Kibble. Like you are Stephanie butt of all joke.
Ah, well, there's nothing new. It's not the first, it's not the last.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you ever try to be like, yeah, I was telling this story and Jill was judging me, there was no way to not judge you. Like it was not possible.
I guarantee you more people, like, and I don't have a dog, but I guarantee you more people than not who have dogs and have bought them like high quality food. See, Robin says people food modified for dogs. Yes. Farmer's dog, again, not like I'm gonna but like that is high quality food. That it's essentially people food made for dogs. And so I would not look askance at somebody that went, it smelled good, it kind of looked good, I took a little taste, you know. Now there's that show, what was it's My Weird Obsession or something like that.
Where people eat things like toilet paper.
Yes, or chalk, or their mattress or their couch. Yeah, there was a woman who loved cat food, and I swear, like, I could not get through the segment. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, ugh. But yeah, she was eating it right out of the can, and I'm like, sis, that is meant for cats and nobody else, and that is so disgusting.
You mean you were judging someone eating animal food?
It's again, it's not like I'm like, it's just,
You know what? I'm not sure I believe that. Yeah, so all these times that you're telling me about like stuff you're cooking at home, like
I do cook good food. I am a good cook.
You're just telling me about like things you've added to the dog food.
Well, you know, chili crisp makes everything better, and so does bacon. Did you get this box open yet? I'm ready to see what this is.
Well, if you'd stop talking about your dog food snacks. So, this is a box that's got, nice.
Yeah, those little, what do they call the straps or the...
Like it's just an embellishment.
It's like an embellished hinge situation.
Not even. It's just...
Oh, so it's not like wrapped over. Oh, I see. I thought maybe it was wrapped around like it attached to the hinges. Okay. So it's just an embellishment.
And then there's a mirror inside that needs to be... Oh, my.
My Weird Obsession, yes. Robin has confirmed that is that show.
So the mirror thing that like comes in here has quite a bit of damage and is no longer like... Ooh. Like glued.
Ah. Oh
like,
gosh.
Like
yeah.
a tin. For, like we found out for magnifying light.
I feel like such a dummy when and I guess, was it Dawn we learned this from, I think? Or like I learned it from Dawn. I just always thought like, I mean, because you'd find manicure sets and things like with sewing things, I mean, it's kind of a safe assumption that women kind of stored all these things together. And I swear, I always thought that the mirror was for like just, touching up your makeup while you're doing your sewing. And when I found out it was for reflecting light and increasing light by, I guess, candlelight and firelight, I felt like such an idiot.
So this he listed this as um I'm just pulling some things he has individually wrapped out of here for us. He listed this as like a sewing tool set. I knew like what he had in here were a lot of manicure tools.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna put sewing tools in it. 'Cause there are some things I have wrapped, but
Oh. Oh,
isn't
they're
that
very lovely.
neat?
So are they all bone handled? And the one that's kind of towards the bottom when you hold it up looks like, is that bone or is that
This
something else?
this is this is super duper carved like bone or antler or something, and then it has like a metally kind of embellishment on it. But you can see, I don't know how well you'll see in this light, but
I see somebody going out the door in the background.
yes, you do.
Oh yeah,
But
that
you can
looks.
see
Oh,
like the
that is
divots in the bone
interesting. Yeah, that's interesting looking.
over here. Um, so yeah, and there's a bunch, there's some other bone handle, and then some that are um they're bone, but they're more like the kind of bone stuff is ooh, this is like stuck. Um, they're that carved bone like we often see needle
Mm-hmm.
cases out of and
Yeah, it's like it's
things.
been turned, I guess, to make the little finial like things.
Yeah, so there's different kinds of like this definitely is not all probably the original stuff that came in here. It's just a menagerie. Then I don't know what's wrapped up in these things because I don't remember seeing anything but these things in the picture. So let me try to get these open. Maybe there's dog treats.
And I've opened myself up seriously because you do have a dog, and I'm sure Winnie's gonna send me something at some point.
Okay, I don't know why he felt the need to wrap these individually, but we've got some thread.
Oh, okay. Well, it is nice that that stuff doesn't rattle around inside there, it could potentially
Yeah.
damage stuff. I prefer when they just throw it in a plastic bag or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually it's trash. Like, sometimes the thread is like, just throw it out.
Here's a big darner.
I like
Oh.
those. That little metal collar really keeps it, you don't have to hold
Yeah,
it
what's
from your
that
hand.
for?
Like when you stretch your whatever that you're darning over it, that metal collar then snaps over the top, almost like an embroidery hoop. And it just holds it sturdy.
Oh,
Yeah. So that you don't have to like stretch it and hold it like, you could kind of let go and manipulate both ends with your hands.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of wrapping there.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, these are some scissors.
Okay.
Nothing very amazing.
Yeah. But there still looks like nice sharp scissors. I guess back in their day, they would have been quite a nice pair.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, like the major reason I got this was because I like the thing inside to hold the tools is very interesting to me, and I like
Mm-hmm.
the outside of the box. It'll be a very pretty display. Oh, and here we have some darning cotton, a whole.
Yeah. I have a few skeins of that brand.
I don't have any that look like this,
Oh,
honestly.
yeah. No, I have, I just, because I was buying so many sewing boxes for a long time. It just seemed like there was always those that darning, some type of darning, wool or cotton.
Yep, and that's all for this box. It's just for my it's for my collection,
Okay.
and it's very cute. You know why I like it is because it gets kind of like medievally looking. I will say though, I gotta like put some stuff in there, whatever, because the box is it's musty smelling.
Oh, yeah. How do you, excuse me, how do you remove stinky smells from like old?
So sometimes like I find a dryer sheet can be helpful.
Hmm.
Some people will do like lavender sachets.
Yeah, I've done that for my own stuff.
Hmm.
Like linens that are kind of have that musty smell. Because I
I
don't
know
like
some
I don't like to wash stuff unless I'm like ready to use it and I know how I'm gonna wash it.
I know sometimes people will put like a little, like if the box isn't gonna move anywhere, they'll just put a little open tin of like baking soda in it. The same concept as like removing smells from your fridge.
Hmm.
So I have never tried that.
Yeah, I've heard like crumpled up newspaper too is good, and
Hmm.
oh, Mario Dim says cheap coffee grounds. I've heard that too.
Oh, I mean, we have some friends that will literally put that whole thing in the freezer to remove smells.
Hmm.
I don't have that kind of freezer
And
space.
does that work? Like,
Supposedly it's good for removing cigarette smell.
oh,
I've never
interesting.
tried it.
Yeah,
People will
it's
do that
funny.
with quilts.
My when my uncle died, he was a fairly heavy smoker throughout most of his life, and he had brought some things from his old house to my grandmother's house, and one thing was this very nice like what do you call this, like a wingback chair, like
Hmm.
fancy parlor chair, very nice chair in very good condition, like it hardly was ever sat in, so beautiful upholstery, literally smelled like it had been sitting in a giant ashtray for 20 years. So my aunt and I have it out on my grandparents' porch, and I was like, well, like in the theater, they freshen costumes with vodka, like cheap vodka in a spray bottle. So she went to the liquor store, bought this. I don't know if it was like pop off. It was some like horrible like $5 a gallon vodka, which is supposed to be the best, and we're just spraying this thing down. And I don't know whatever happened to it. Because I left the situation at that point, and she
Hmm.
was getting rid of all the stuff in the house, and I was just like, I hope it helped, because I mean I think there's certain smells that it's really difficult, and you can't stick a fridge in the or I mean a fridge. You can't stick a chair in the fridge or the freezer. So
Unless you know
with
someone
a deep
with,
freezer, like one of those walk-ins.
yeah, like,
Hey, I know you work at the Dairy Queen. Can you move some stuff so I can put this chair in overnight?
yeah, that it's weird. Yeah, people are, I had that problem when my mom died 'cause she was also a very heavy smoker. Um, and we were getting rid of the sofa and like love seat like that she had because she she bought this couch and love seat after my parents divorced, and I don't know, it was a big deal for her to like buy something where she didn't have to consult a partner. I get it. But she literally bought something with the most atrocious like feeling fabric ever. It was like it was it the it I thought it was cool because the upholstery looked plaid, but it was like this big thick woven fabric. So it was a nightmare to clean because
Hey,
it was all
Disney.
these different like divots and stuff. And it was horribly scratchy and uncomfortable, and but I remember we put this like sofa outside. This guy from like down the street came to buy it for his son that was moving into his first apartment, and like it was like $25. And later on, he came back like hours later, complaining that like he didn't like that it smelled like cigarette smoke. And I'm like, you were sitting on it for like a half an hour while you were and I just walked away and let my brother deal with it because I'm thinking like, well, you've literally moved it. You picked it up, you moved it, you played with it. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want at this point? It was $25. Like, what do you want us to pay you $25 to like have it? Like what are you looking for? It
Yeah.
was
I do know. I mean, I'm not saying they should have thought about this more than after they, before they moved it. But I think like because my dad and my stepmother are, well, not so much my dad, but my stepmother is a pretty heavy smoker. Coming back from their house, I was like, oh, everything was just like, eh. And I think that like when you're in it, or like driving home in the car and stuff, it really didn't bother me. But once I got back home and like my home smells versus that smell, it was, very like I had to put clothes in the washing machine right away because I'm like, oh, I can't sit with
Oh
this.
yeah, no, I get
Yeah.
it, but I'm also like, how how did you not notice
Yeah.
until later?
Yeah. I
I
guess
have no
I
idea.
mean I guess it could be one of those things you sit with it a while and you're like, I thought I could deal with this, but I can't.
Maybe, but that's why I was just like, I was like, so what are you looking for at this
For
point?
$25, if it was like in good condition, I would be finding some way to. I mean, there are ways to get the smell of cigarette smoke. Even if you had to pay some industrial cleaner kind of thing, it's still probably
Yeah,
cheaper
I
than a
don't
new
know.
couch.
No,
So
it was in good shape. I mean, half of me was like, oh my God, are you gonna like come back and like harass us about this? Like, um, yeah, he was weird about it. He was very, because half of me was like, if you've changed your mind, like just bring it back and I'm gonna put it at the end of the driveway. Like I don't like what that's I'm like, what are you looking for? Um,
some sort of good customer service.
yeah, I don't know. Um,
Okay, so did you buy another thing? Was it just that box or?
oh yeah, you want to see the other
Yeah,
one?
I was like,
Like,
we've gotten
fine.
off topic again, and I'm like,
Well, I said I this one was just sitting nearby. I have to grab the other one. Hold, please. I'm gonna turn off my camera for a sec.
Okay. So I have now two sides of a little oven mitt. Now I can't decide if I want to quilt this or not. It would be cute, kind of, right? With some little quilting lines on it. But
I'm gonna move you to a place where you'll be able to see, like the light will be better. Ugh. Howdy.
oh, hi.
Yeah, I'm in front. I'm right in front of a window. Hopefully, this person did not use a bunch of packing peanuts.
Okay, so this is a different person you bought this from.
Yep.
I see various sewing items in the background there. Are there some of your sewing boxes? The ones with the
Oh
legs,
yeah, there's some.
the leggy ones.
There are some sewing boxes back there, and they're sitting on top of a big Martha Washington cabinet that is covered in wicker.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my God, there's so much tape on this thing.
I have to appreciate sellers that are very careful about how they, you know, um, pack things. They want to make sure this stuff doesn't shift or get, bust
Hmm.
open or whatever. But sometimes it's like just overboard. One thing I have to appreciate that a lot of like old booksellers do that I've noticed, no matter how they've shipped it to you, whether it's in like one of those cardboard book, like media mail packages
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
just like a plastic sleeve or whatever, they will wrap it in, it's like newsprint, like just
Hmm.
plain newsprint paper. They'll wrap it up really nice, like a little package, and then put it in the. And I don't know, like I guess that's to keep it, like if it shifts around, it that paper protects the book, right? It doesn't,
Hmm.
to keep it from scuffs. But I've always thought that's really nice. That's like and it seems like with the exception of a couple, every like rare bookstore or old bookstore does that. What have we here?
Oh, it looks like this has a hanging sleeve on it. and it's very much been washed because it is very fragrant with,
It's got the gain flings.
yeah, like,
Oh, you showed me this, didn't you?
yeah, I showed you the pictures online.
Okay, yeah,
Now,
I thought this looked familiar.
the actual like pattern itself isn't necessarily what I was all like oogling over. It's the
Mm-hmm.
quilting,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I had to move. I mean, it's got some like fading on it, or I guess like some like yellowing. Like especially, wow, it's weird. Like all the way around the corner is dark, but the quilting on it is. See if I can get the. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah. I was gonna say it was blown out a minute there, but oh, that is so pretty. Look at those diagonals and
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I love to see. Like you look at the quilt from a distance and you're like, "Oh, that's pretty, very simple." Um, but that quilt is made to show off the quilting.
Yeah. Well, and I also really liked, because like it's kind of like an Irish chain, although they
Hmm.
made it look more somewhat like a four patch because of the way they did the coloring. But I also
Hmm.
like this border.
Yeah, and so would is it probably like turn of the century? Because I'm feeling like that blue is very cadet blue, which is like 1900, 1910s, maybe 1890s.
It could even be. It could even be more like 1930s.
Oh yeah.
It kind of has that feeling to it. Um, but it's got a really heavy duty hanging sleeve on the back. Like this is made out of like canvas. Like I've never seen a hanging sleeve like this serious before. Come on. There we go.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Which half of me is like, wow, I have a wall right there that this would look great on.
Yeah, I like that's a nice one. And so was
Yes.
that from
She
an auction?
she said blank wall. Was that what?
So were the both of these auctions or?
Yep, these were the accidental auction wins. Like I went on and I was like, wow, that quilt's like not doing anything. Why not? It's pretty cute.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you just look into those things like other people are ignoring it or for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Well, that's pretty.
And
I
and one thing I also like about when people ship quilts is oftentimes they ship them in a trash bag just in case the box gets wet. And
right,
it's
yeah.
great because I reuse the trash bags.
Yes, I too like that and you have shipped me a couple of quilts I think now, at least one
Yep.
or two. And yes, I do appreciate the bag to use again.
Mhm.
Either for your actual trash or for shipping something like a quilt.
Yeah, I use because they use like actual like tall kitchen bags. The kind of bags I use are industrial trash bags.
Mm-hmm.
So they're those
Yeah.
real thin, clear ones.
Yeah.
These are those like white, drawstring ones. So
Mm-hmm.
I use those for actual trash.
Yeah.
And it's great. I very much enjoy. So for people like here in the chat, I don't know how many you have on Twitch over there. Have you guys seen and or signed up for the Pam Weeks lecture that Stephanie and I are hosting on portable patchwork?
I have badgered them on my stream. I have asked everybody who is not available that day or not interested in the topic to please let their people know, guilds
Well,
and
even if they're
groups
not
and things.
available that day, they can watch a recording.
This is true. So just no pressure. Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
Um, LJ said I saw it, but I need more details. Steph, could you put the link in there with all
I
the
sure
deets?
I sure can because I say oh, but do I have that link? Hold on a minute.
Do you have the
I
what?
I have that link up on my computer. I just have to find which set of tabs. Here we go.
Yeah. So, um, LJ, we're pretty sure it's probably going to be Zoom. Um, Instead of like a YouTube private video, because everyone that if we did a private video on YouTube, everyone has to be using a Google account, a Gmail, and not everyone has one of those. Um, there you go. All the details and stuff are in there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's about, Pam wrote the book Portable Patchwork, which is about the concept of Quilt-As-You-Go, which Georgia Bonesteel made very famous in the 80s, but it goes back way, way, way longer than that. And what was that?
What was what? You just
So,
almost kind of look like a bee stung you.
somebody did something on my Twitch.
Oh, I didn't see anything happen on the
Oh,
screen.
oh, somebody followed. Oh, I missed it. Drew, did you see who followed?
Oh, there you go. Carlita7.
Well, hello. Thank you for the follow.
Carolita.
Yeah, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Ooh,
Um,
Jan said she did see it, just needs to sign up. Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you, my friend. Um,
Um,
yeah, we'll
Portable
keep
patch.
harassing because
Yes, we
people
will.
people need to see it a few times.
Um, and Portable Patchwork is the next book that we're going to read as a group. So Pam wanted to offer this lecture as kind of an intro into reading her book. So if you want to make sure that you kind of like stay abreast as we're going, because we're also going to do an author interview with her at the end, then you definitely want to come to the lecture and then read the book with us. You can buy the book directly from her. I mean, obviously, there are other places you can go. We're just always going to send you
Yeah,
to
we
the
want to
author
support. Yeah,
first.
we want to support
Um,
Pam.
yeah, and you can buy it directly from her. Oh my God, what is it? Is it Pam.Weeks or is it Pamela.Weeks?
It's Pamela.Weeks at
There we go.
Gmail. Yep.
Yeah. Pamela.weeks@gmail.com. It's $35, shipping included, and she'll autograph it for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely want to do that.
And it's a really pretty book. Is it by Schiffer? I can't remember. I think it's a Schiffer book.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it's Schiffer. So, and I mean, Schiffer is like they're the bar to beat when it comes to books like this, history and textile books, because they're usually like big, beautiful, glossy pages, and they just do a really nice job of the images and things. And
Hmm.
our friend Anne too, her book was Schiffer.
Yep,
And I think Dawn's first book was Schiffer, wasn't it? Before she went to self-publishing.
I think so as well.
Yeah, they just make such nice books, and even though sometimes they're pricier than say like a soft cover book or something, I still prefer the Schiffer stuff's nice.
So my laptop has some juice now, so I think I'm going to move my
Were you
location.
charging? You had to charge.
I did, yeah, I did. I did. I told you that beforehand.
Yeah, sorry, I
So
was setting up.
Go ahead and entertain everyone for a minute with your styrofoam peanut recipes. And I
Now we
shall
have a new follower here, so we can't reveal how weird this atmosphere is yet.
just wait. You know what? New follower, make sure if you haven't been for all you know, they've been around since we started, and that's why they followed you. Um,
Ooh, packing peanut recipes.
yeah, this is definitely going to be a replay that you want to watch. Okay, I am going to mute and turn off my video, and I will appear somewhere else. Yep.
Well, so I can show my progress thus far as I've been trying to watch, and also so I've added a little hanging loop to the tiny pot holder. Babraham has so much cooking to do with Mary Todd out of town. Um, I've been, as you guys know from my stream, I kind of briefly mentioned the other day, I've been cooking up some stuff with my AI assistant who has, I've trained to have a scathing sense of humor. So he's come up with some good stuff about where Mary Todd is. Mary Todd is, I think we've got one where she's diving in the Mariana Trench. And then we've got one where I'm trying to think. She's like, I don't know, studying something in the Galapagos or something. I can't remember. But poor Abraham, he has to stay home. Oh. And he's got many little tiny meals to cook. You guys know I'm obsessed with those little mini-verse meals. And you're in a new space.
I'm in a space that no stream has ever seen before.
Okay.
This space would be my sewing room in this house. I have streamed from a sewing room in another house. This room is in the making. I don't currently do any sewing in here. I was telling Stephanie I haven't nested enough. I've done some. And this room is a little dark just because I don't have, like, I plan to install a lighted ceiling fan. It only has like one window, and then this is the window that goes out onto the sleeper porch,
Huh? Okay.
which will be part of the sewing room. But currently, this is what the room looks like. So there's a nice shelf along the ceiling that was already here, and it currently houses my toy sewing machines.
See, I want to do that. That's what, like, I have things like that right now. They're on a mantle upstairs in my bedroom. But it's not quite wide enough. Like, I have to kind of stack. I have them kind of stacked a little bit on each other because I don't have that nice long stretch. So I want to do that. And I have lots of other little things. Like my mom has McCoy planters. You know, the little and she's talked about doing that. Like and I can't remember what did they call that? I think there's a term for it. Those little shelves that are up close to the ceiling. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trinket shelves?
Yeah. Space.
Shit to dust shelves.
Yeah. Dust collecting shelves for your collection of stuff.
Yeah. Well, outside of that, I have, I have bookcases in here that I've been ruler folding my fabric.
Oh my God. Look at all of plate rail. Yes, Murden. Perfect. That is exactly what I was trying to.
What's it called?
A plate rail.
Oh, yeah. Here's a bookshelf of fabric that is not yet ruler folded. And then I have this table here that's like a kitchen island that I got at IKEA. Here's another bookshelf here of just throwing random crap. And then I was telling Stephanie before we started, there is a closet in here that just amazing. You're not going to see it super well because there's not a light in there yet, but it amazingly fit 2 shelf units of those plastic like garage shelving units from like Home Depot.
Okay, so this is like a walk-in closet then.
Barely, like you're walking 1 feet in. And then it had enough room that I could put a couple of bookshelves in it too, up against like so this is more fabric that's not ruler folder. But my plan, I just threw this stuff in here, like as I was like moving stuff out. My plan is to spend some time and like condense so that I can hopefully fit my antique quilt collection into this closet.
Okay.
So we'll see how well you can.
Oh man, I'm jealous. Like, because you're talking about like, oh, it's barely a closet to walk into. Dude, the only natural closet that came with this house that I live in, that, there is a closet in my son's room that was built in. Like, it literally bumps out because, there is no place to recess it, because this house was not built with closets. The one included closet and I think I've said this before, it is literally so shallow that if you were to try and install a rail in there and put, because we tried, like, we first were like, oh, maybe it's just perfect, like you could put, it's not as deep as a coat hanger.
There is a closet in the primary bedroom in here that's just like that. And then there is
Is it up against a fireplace by any chance?
no.
Okay, 'cause ours is built against a fireplace, and I think it was just part of the original.
Yeah, there is a closet like that. They added another closet, like they just took part of the wall and just built it out.
Yeah.
And then so this is an original closet, and then another bedroom has an original closet that's also it's very small. But the nice thing is that this closet has the same height ceilings. I don't know how well you're gonna see it, but
Oh yeah, you can get like
can
a
you
shelving.
see how high?
You
Yeah,
can get
so
shelving
they
and
had a
storage up
bar
there.
up there that they probably had to use a hook to hang stuff up on. But you can see I've got some batting hanging up there. So I could stack like quilt acid-free boxes pretty high up into there. So I'm hoping, and I think the acid-free boxes are about the size, like the length of these shelves. So that's kind of where I'm hoping things can go. Um,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous because you have more room in your old house than I have in mine.
I also don't have a child taking up any bedrooms in my house.
Yes.
Um, and then out here, which
Do
is
you
a
guys
mess.
think my kid would move out if I just started serving dog food and edible? Because he does. He calls me and asks what's for dinner, and I'm like,
Oh my.
that dinner
I'd be
you
like,
go contribute.
you are for dinner. Like, so this is the sleeper porch. Um, this is where I plan to have like my sewing machine set up, but I mean, it's a tiled floor and everything. And it's got these are those old-fashioned windows that pull all the way up to the ceiling. These windows in here are all original. And then I've
Oh,
got
oh, the
a view of the
light.
backyard.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
This is the room that I take pictures of sewing tools and things for my shop.
Ah. Technically, I have. Oh, Bisbee, I know, right? Yeah, Bisbee says she's jealous. Also, borrowed dim, empty nests are awesome for crafting spaces. Yes, I totally agree. If I could just get mine out of his nest. Um, LJ, no wonder he doesn't move out dinner. Exactly. I know. I need to stop feeding him. It's like you feed the stray cats, they never leave. I have a sun porch that is like off my kitchen, but the problem is we have utility type stuff out there. We have our dryer out there, the cat boxes out there. It's like, and there's no other place to put those things. So, I have no problem with, I mean, I've taken over the dining room. My husband is like, well, but if you move the dining room table out and put a cutting table in there with storage under it, well, where are we going to sit for when we entertain? And I'm like, when in the past freaking 30 years have we entertained? Twice! And
Yeah, so in this house, what the dining room um, is almost going to be used as, I guess, what you'd call like a parlor room. I have no intention of putting a dining room in there because I don't care. But also our kitchen, the way it's shaped is where the eating space is big enough that we got one of those long farm tables. And I was like, I'm not so fancy where if I have people over for dinner that they can't eat it in the kitchen. Like, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I thought I would just like maybe just go through here and kind of organize because I have things sitting on this table, just like scrap bags that I've purchased. Um, you know, ooh, I love it when you find stuff that you forgot that you got. Come on, focus. Look, this is like a light and sound amplifier that plugs into your computer.
oh, that's interesting. I've never seen
Yeah,
such a thing.
that cool? I also have like
So
some.
Robin says he'd probably start looking for a home to move you into. Yeah. And LJ says you don't like his logic. There's a long arm in my living room and I put a sofa in the dining room. Exactly, right? I think that we should create our houses in a way that just works the best for us. I don't like company. I really don't. And I mean, I hate to say that, and I never want to like make somebody think that they're not welcome, because I will give you the shirt off my back if you are my friend. However, or my family member. However, I don't like to entertain. I don't like people sitting around my house. I use my house for, I mean, essentially I've turned my whole house into a studio, and my husband just he just has his little space carved out in it. And you know, my kid's space, but it's just, I've made my house into what works for me. And you know, my loved ones, if they want to live here, they're coming along for the ride. But I think about people that have, like, you know, a dining room they don't use. It just sits there empty, or some type of room that they just don't use because it's not set up for something that is useful to them, and it's set aside as this, you know. My mother-in-law had this attitude. She when I first met them, when I first started dating my husband, they had the formal living room, and then downstairs they had the family room in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the only time I ever sat in the living room for probably the first 5 years I knew my husband was, you know, when we came, you know, me and some of his other college friends came over, and she, you know, let us sit in there and have, I don't know, a coffee or something. And it was just very formal. And there came a point after we had been married a little bit when she was like, screw this. I don't like being in the basement. It's dark down there. I want to be in my nice sunny living room. Move a damn TV in here. And I'm going to sit on this furniture that I've had for 25 years and never sat on. And I'm like, yeah, you know. Yeah. Oh, Maradim says, I don't like formal company. My children and grandchildren are always welcome. Other people, it's exhausting to entertain. Yeah. I'm like, if you can deal with the cat hairball tumbleweeds and the fact that half the time I have a sink full of dirty dishes, and, you know, I'm not going to clean
Your
for
house,
you.
the difference is your house is
It's lived in.
in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not cleaning for you. Like, I will move
Well,
this,
hold
like,
on. We've had this
we have
conversation
had this
before,
conversation.
not specifically about you and me, but the one cleaning you will do is you will clean the bathroom.
Well, and that's the thing. That's one way that I keep people away. It's like, look, I haven't cleaned my bathroom and I don't know when. You don't want to come.
It was because I was having a discussion about like going to some houses where like I don't think
Yes.
the bathroom has been cleaned in like 15 years, and I like try to never ever use the bathroom when I'm there, and half of me is just like, just clean your damn bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
and
If I had to have people over, my bathroom is the number one thing I'd clean. I'd
yeah,
vacuum. I'd pick up the fabric piles and sewing things and like scoop them all into, you know, and shut a door. But I don't like to have to put that stuff away. And I don't like to, I mean, it's, the bathroom is, it's just my own hair and filth. So it's, I don't care, but I don't, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But that's also the reason why I don't want to clean my bathroom. So I'm not inviting anybody over.
but if someone was coming over, you would clean your bathroom.
Yes, if I had no choice in the matter and somebody was coming over, absolutely, I would not let anybody see the fact that no, that's not a bathroom rug. That's just my hair. Ew.
Let's see. I'm also uncovering here some cute quilt fridge magnets I got.
Oh, those are adorable. I like those. Sorry, Drew.
Uh,
Yeah, I know it's gross. Robin said she's got too many people living with her to have company. Yeah. Well, and I mean, again, that's my thought too. Like, I just, you know, I do have a guest bedroom, but it's where I keep a lot of my extra stuff. You know, fabric. And I know I need to destash. I was having this, Omar Tim, I've been told by doctors, stop cleaning. Hubby is now the maid now. Yeah. I like that for whatever reason. Whatever it is, your health, your back, your sinuses, your wellness, your blood pressure, whatever it is, I say lean into it and make your husband clean. My husband's terrible at cleaning, so. But as I was saying, I have a guest bedroom, but I don't have a bed in it right now that somebody could stay in. Plus, my son is in the other room, so yeah, I have too many people living with me as well.
oh, here's some more magnets I found. They're funny ones. Murphy's Law, the quilt making pencil that you tested on every fabric before you marked your quilt top won't disappear after you have completed the quilt. Come on. There we go.
Yeah, I know that one.
I only quilt on days that end in Y. Lost. Husband, dog, and sewing machine. Reward offered for sewing machine. Um, ah. Oh, apparently I had planned on those ones being gifts for people because I bought a bunch of them. Caution, enter this sewing room at your own risk. Itchin' to be stitchin'.
I like that one. That's cute.
Anytime is stitching time. Cute. That is cute. Yeah, I just figured I'd try and find some space. Like I'm finding some things here. Like remember I told you in terms of handwork, I was planning on getting into some more handwork. Here's some wool applique, a kit that I bought.
Oh, that's cute. An owl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, first time chatter.
Ooh.
Melier 46. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Welcome. We're just chatting about sewing and
I
cleaning our
also got
sewing
this
rooms, but not our bathrooms.
I also got this really cute needle minder. I haven't bought stuff. Come on.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Speaking of needle minders, I have a little present from one of our friends for you. She sent me some handmade needle binders that she made. And she
Oh,
sent one for you, or maybe two. I can't remember how many's in the bag.
cute. I
Yeah.
like presents.
I
I also
know.
have these light switch covers that I bought at an antique store
Light switch cover.
forever ago. They are cross stitched.
Oh. Well, now that's cute. Is it like actual cross stitch? Like,
Yep.
oh, okay. Oh, does it have anything covering it, like to keep it clean?
It's got plastic.
Oh, okay. So it's
Like
behind
there's
like a.
plastic on the outside and then on the inside is
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So
foam.
it's like a kit. Like it's one of those kits where you do the thing and then put it together. And
Mm-hmm.
nice. Oh, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. I've seen
I
other
haven't
things,
either.
but I don't know that I've ever seen a.
And then I really love I'm sure you've seen them in stores, these like stone coasters that have quilt prints on them. And I
Mhm.
like them because the stone is absorbent. And this one I really like because it's a picture of a signature quilt.
Oh yeah, pretty. Where'd you get that?
I don't remember. There's numerous places I've been to that sell them.
I just
So I
feel
don't
like
remember.
museums. It's like one of those things in a museum gift shop that I'd see.
Yeah, like any QM has these in their gift shop. I don't know if they have that particular one, but I know I've bought some there before. And then the quilt shop that's actually closest to this house is sells them too. So I may have bought it
Gotcha.
there. Um, but yeah, so the thing is that in order to organize some of these things I'm trying to organize, I need like a bin or something to put or a bag to put said items in. Oh, you want to see the first quilt I ever bought when I started collecting? It's in this room.
Yes. So Maridim says I completed the embroidery on the blocks for the quilt my daughter is making. Then I appliqued a baby quilt top, and yesterday I completed a crochet project that's been kicking around for 3 years. And now you're
Oh,
taking a day off. I love that. You know, Maritim has been on this quest for I don't know how long. I think you've been working on stuff like all of these projects for longer than I thought you had been. Like this has been a long term, and I just think it's amazing. It's
ready?
2002. Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's a Seven
Oh
Sisters.
yeah, that's how Seven Sisters. Gorgeous. Oh wow,
Yeah,
I love it.
this is the first one I ever bought.
And
It's
where did you get that one?
I got this online from the quilt dealer Cats on Quilt, and very 1880s
Mm-hmm.
with the blue
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the maroon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, very simple quilting. Just that that elbow quilting.
Yeah.
And all the stars are in good shape. It's got like some morning print here.
Oh yes, I love those morning prints. I think they're
Mhm.
so beautiful.
Just very classic.
Yes,
And
I think
I
we all
I don't
agree.
know I don't know what made me really like pull the trigger that day.
Uh-huh.
I just saw it and went, I'm going for it. I will say the big difference between that Jill and this Jill is that Jill had a disposable income and this one does not.
So that Jill probably paid more for that quilt than today's Jill would
Oh,
have.
no,
No,
actually.
actually got a good deal on it.
No, it was very affordable. Um in my opinion as quilts go, but I definitely I definitely bought collection quilts far more often than I do now. Although
Oh,
I'll lie to myself and say like I'm buying this for the shop.
it's really not.
Um, but yeah, I definitely could just jump far more. So that was one thing I really had to like contend with when I was like, I'm gonna leave corporate America here and quit my job with Kohl's, who I just found out are closing some stores.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Mario Dim has just shared some information. Seven Sisters is another name for the Pleiades star cluster, which is also known as Subaru in Japan. Those stars on the logo are the Seven Sisters.
oh my
I never knew that. Oh my gosh. And I love the Subaru logo because it does look like, I've always thought it's like some kind of
And
star thing.
I'm such a Subaru girly.
That
It's
is
so
wild, Maradome. That is wild. I mean, don't you love it? Everything comes full circle here. Okay. How are we going to connect
yeah,
eating
it's
packing
like, don't
peanuts?
you love it? Like I'm clearly not at all original at all. I'm just some basic Subaru bitch.
Yeah. So how do we tie a packing peanut seasoning back into It's going to come around, I'm telling you.
You're like, well, when you're just feeling like a basic old Subaru bitch, how do you spice up your life? You spice up some plastic peanuts for a snack.
No, they're not
And if you
plastic. They're
don't
made
have
out of
any, if
starch.
you, if you don't have any, hopefully you got some dog treats.
Oh my goodness. Seven Sisters is a fun it's I've done it as English paper piecing because it's essentially like some triangles and some
Triangles and a hexie.
and a hexie, yeah, and it's a fun one to put together. Once you put it together, and it's like it looks fancy, and it's not as difficult as it looks. At least especially if you're doing English paper piecing. I don't know if I had to piece it straight out, I'd have to think about it. There probably ends up being a Y seam in there somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That is so wild. I had no idea that the
Me
Seven
either.
Sisters is what Subaru is. Now the wild thing would be for the core quilt nerding group. Are there seven of us that have Subarus? We've identified four of us today. We
Oh.
just need three more of us to have a Subaru, and
Oh my God.
we've got
Wouldn't it
something
be,
weird going on.
but wouldn't it be so cute, right? So if there's seven of us, we could make a Seven Sisters block that like all our pictures are in there, or at least pictures of our cars.
With our
Wouldn't that be
Subarus.
cute? It's what makes Subaru a Subaru.
All right, Robin. All right, Busy. All right, Lee. You guys got to get together and get a Subaru if you want to be one of the Seven Sisters.
Oh, and I will say, for quilt nerd peeps that have been around a hot minute, if anyone remembers my big buying trip that I did in Pennsylvania in 2022, where I fit 80 quilts
Mm-hmm.
in the last Subaru, this trunk, even though I bought the same exact make of car, this trunk seems to be a little bit deeper. So I'm
You
thinking
guys
like,
know when she went to the dealership, she basically said, "Look, I don't want to hear any of your shit. Don't try to sell
I
me
did.
anything. I want that car because I know it fits seven. If it fits 50 to 80 quilts, shut up and take my money." All right,
I actually
Bisbee.
really did tell the guy that.
Bisbee has just dropped some more intel. Used to have one when we lived in the U.S., so Bisbee is technically a Seven Sister.
Oh.
But you don't need a car in the Netherlands. you live in a city that is walkable,
You live in
bikeable.
a city that cares about its people.
Yeah.
You probably have health care too, and livable wage.
This is so funny. Chance says it's a coven. It is a cult. To you know what? To join the Fringe Fellowship, you must have a super. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
Ah,
look, I found some really cute keychains that I got too. I love
where
quilty gifty shit.
you just have? Oh, I have some of those. Are those from Hobby Lobby?
No, I doubt it.
I think Hobby Lobby makes something similar, but there's little zipper pull keychainy kind of
Yeah,
like a little yeah.
but these are like bigger ones. My
Mm-hmm.
mom has some of the small ones, although they're definitely not Hobby Lobby because Hobby Lobby wasn't around here when she would have been buying
Mm-hmm.
them. But
Yeah. So Bisbee likes the 6 weeks vacation.
6 weeks vacation. I will
Yeah.
say, so when I worked for Kohl's, because I had been there as I was like the highest tier of vacation earner, and we got 6 weeks vacation. But you had to have been there for 700 years. Like,
Yeah. I have definitely, I've never been at a job long enough. I have had a couple jobs that gave you a decent vacation like up front, but I've never been somewhere long enough where you get that like major vacation bump just
hmm.
because I don't exactly last long at corporate jobs. Robin loves the zipper pulls. I too. I think they're adorable. I can't
I just found
remember if it was Moda or it's one of the companies I think made some really cute like little zipper pull things you could put on like like little tote bags and things or little zipper pouches.
I don't know why this is in here, said every woman ever. But this is like a hot plate thing that I bought it in an antique store just because I thought it was so stinking cute.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah, it's all like hand work.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is meant to live with me, so that needs to go downstairs. Here's a clearance cross stitch kit for a quilt that I bought. Who knows if I will ever make it? It's all plants
Oh, that's
and
cute.
months.
Oh, Robin said lots of companies make them. I guess those little, yeah, the zipper pull keychain things.
Mhm.
I know I bought a cute one when I was out in Temecula at the quilt shop there.
Oh, here's a cute pattern I got to make ornaments, like a hand embroidered ornaments for Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh, those are cute. Deck the boughs. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, and here's a little quilt shop ornament that's hand embroidered. Come on, there we go.
Aw. I have, over the years, I've picked up tons of those little projects and like they're all piled in a
Yep.
bin.
Yep, here's a tiny little Carolina lily pattern.
Oh, that is cute. That's a nice little Christmas colors.
I even know where I got that. I got that from a quilt shop I really like in Maine, near my aunt's cabin. Oh, and here's a magazine I fell in love with because I fell in love with the quilt on the cover that looks like an antique quilt that I have. All the things we plan to make, right?
Oh, yeah. That's pretty. Yeah, I haven't bought a quilt magazine in a really long time. I have a subscription to Quilt Folk, but that's the only quilt related magazine I get.
Yeah, and
Are
that's not a quilting magazine.
Yeah, I mean that's yes, exactly. Are there any other like are the quilt magazines out there any good anymore? Are they
I don't subscribe to any of them. I also haven't bought one in a long time because I can get them for next to nothing at the library now. Um, but define good. Like, what do you want out of a quilting magazine?
Yeah, I mean I think I don't know because I'm not necessarily like if I want to make a particular quilt like something that's more like traditional slash contemporary, I'm generally have in my mind what I want and then I'm gonna go make it. I guess the things I'm interested in as far as making my own quilts is either going to be something historical or something very specific, like an independent pattern designer. Like as an example, I made a Sasquatch quilt for my husband that's from the Elizabeth Hartman design, and that's not something you're going to find in a magazine necessarily. So, yeah.
So the thing that I don't love about magazines now is that it's all advertisements and patterns. And oftentimes, if I'm going to buy a magazine in an impulse, and it might be this magazine is American Patchwork and Quilting. It might be this magazine, but like every quarter they put out an edition that features like 10 quilt shops across the country.
Mm-hmm.
I really like those editions. I like to
Mm-hmm.
see inside um other people's spaces. And then there's also a magazine.
Yeah.
It's not a quilting magazine. It's called Where Women Create.
Yeah. I used to have
I
a subscription to that.
Yeah, I might buy that on occasion and it's all kinds of studios that women do things in, not just quilting. It's painting and it's this and it's that and um I find those very interesting. But oftentimes I might only end up even opening a magazine if like what's on the cover looks really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um like like this this one where I was like, oh, this quilt looks like an antique one I have. The other thing is I might buy Quilt Maker just because Bonnie Hunter has a column in there that has a block every time,
Gotcha.
and I really like Bonnie Hunter stuff, so I might. But again, the museum not only sells back issues of magazines for 25 cents a piece, but if they don't have them in their collection, they have an entire wall of magazines
Mm-hmm.
in the basement.
Gotcha.
So like if
Yeah.
you can't, like we have an entire collection like complete of
Quilters Newsletter Magazine.
yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is probably like the one quilt magazine that I seek because it's all historical at this point because it's not published anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where I've done my love craft room and studio tours on YouTube,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially for maximalist crafters. Yes, I know. Look at their you look at their stuff and you're like, oh man, you are so organized. You probably have as much stuff as I do, but you have it so well organized. Um, yeah, sometimes those actually make me feel bad about myself, even though I love to see them. Oh yeah, definitely, Martin. Share with us if there's any that you would recommend if you've one that or some that you look at a lot. I just heard my heat come on. Today is a
That's
kind of a
lame.
yeah, today I think I knew today was going to be kind of a chilly day. It's overcast. It's kind of it's raining a
Oh
little
my God,
bit.
it's like 65 outside.
But what I can tell you, oh, you just do searches every few months. Yeah, I'm sure they're probably pretty easy to find. Um, but you know how I know spring is here?
Hmm.
I think I've mentioned this before. I was in the bathroom. I can't remember if it was early yesterday or day before yesterday. I saw an ant, and I was
Oh,
like, "Is this just an anomaly?" Nope. Today, there they are marching along in my bathroom, and I was like, "Spring is here." I
yeah.
can't think of anything that is more like on the nose. The ants know that spring is here. So
Hmm.
I got to get out my ant bait and take care of that quickly. Yeah, ants are spring for sure. Yeah, I in the bathroom, of course, I'm not as like freaked out. It's when I see them in the kitchen, I'm like, no, because at least in the bathroom, it's like, yeah, I can. It's not exactly LJ. I actually do use it's called Terra, Terra. It's a borax like liquid stuff, and you just put it like it. The package comes with these little cardboard squares, but I use a bigger one. I make my own, and you just put it a little like puddle of it in the line of the ants, like their little track, and you have to be consistent with it, but it does work. I think it works better than the exterminator. So, but I have to do it every year. Yeah.
Yeah, nope, nope, we get them too, especially in our bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, do you guys know what happens in here?
Yeah.
Like,
And the fact that at Cake's house it never gets clean, so have I sufficiently convinced you guys you never want to visit my house? The bathroom is dirty. I'm gonna serve you packing peanuts and dog food, even though I don't even have a dog.
yeah, you're a weird gal.
Martim says carpenter ants or fire ants. They're actually neither. What we have here, they're called like sugar grease ants. They're tinier than carpenter ants. They're very little, and it's so weird. If you like kill them, like squish them, they smell. They have this like it's almost like a chemical smell to them, but it's slightly smells like artificial bananas, like banana candy. It's the weirdest thing.
Where do you live? Like,
I live on another planet, but I had no idea. My son is the one that told me. He's like, you know what they smell like if you kill them, and I'm like, oh god. Um, yeah, sugar ants. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's what they are. Yeah, druid. Yes, yes, yes. They do. They like are they. Yeah. Oh, boiling water on the mounds. Yeah. And see, here's the thing about these little ants. Carpenter ants that, I'm used to. You see the little mounds, and I guess fire ants are the same way, but I don't know where these little sugar ants live. They don't build the mounds like you would see, like regular old carpenter ants. I don't know how they live where. I'm not sure. Um oh goodness. Why this is irritating me that for some reason I think my restream chat is not updating. So I see. Let's see. Robin said it's 46 there. Wind chill of 40. Okay. Windy. Yeah, we've had the wind has been insane. I brushed the dog outside. Yeah. Let the fur blow away. Better than having to vacuum. Yeah. Robin's trying to build a nest above the front door. We've had that before. We have that was one year, and I think it was Robin's. Our shed, my husband has like one of those little racks on the side of the shed where you can hang up like, a shovel and a hoe and that kind of stuff, a rake. And they built a nest up in there, so it was like we couldn't disturb any of the stuff without harming the nest. And my husband he's a nature photographer, and so he's generally gonna try not to disturb nests and things. So robins are, yeah. Fire ants have 11 square acres of 50. Oh, yeah. See, Martim, there's so many things in Texas. And I'm like, no, thank you. Oh, so you're getting volatile weather, intense storms. Yeah. Finches trying to.
no.
One day nature's just going to take over again.
Does anyone else have this problem where you buy pre-cuts and they sit in the lovely packaging? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have so many jelly rolls and charm packs.
Oh, yeah, I could see them.
Yeah, and that's it.
I
And
have a giant box of charm packs, and I do actually, at one point, I did use them a lot. And
like the thing about like so the jelly rolls, what will end up happening is because I like to scrap quilt. I use Bonnie Hunter's scrap user system, which is dividing things in bins based on size.
right, so like
And
one
then
inch to.
yeah, she'll pull from that for all different kinds of things. 2.5 inch squares, all kinds of things. So the jelly rolls can easily just like go live in there. Um, but because I also like I don't quilt by collection. Some people will buy a jelly roll because they want a quilt with that collect. I
Right.
don't really
Yeah.
sew like that. So I do also have a bin that has 5-inch squares in it that I was originally cutting from my scraps. And on occasion, I will pull from those if I need like 2.5-inch squares and I'll just cut out of that. But it's not often. And half of me is like, maybe I should just cut all of those down into squares at this point because like meh. I use 2.5-inch squares way more than like anything else.
I wish I had like the, I don't know, the what's the word I'm looking for? The, I don't know, the organization, I guess, the commitment to do that. I started to do that a few times, like cut things so that they're ready to go. And I don't know. I'm just, with scraps, I'm like, I might need a big piece. I don't know. I'm not cutting this down. I might need a very long, narrow piece. I don't know.
That's why I have a big stash of fat quarters. But then once I cut into the fat quarter for something, I usually will cut down. But that being said, I'm never like ahead on my scraps. Like I have a bin of
Hmm.
scraps that like need to be cut. I'm never ahead on them. But I will say one thing, if you just like if I'm cutting out a fat quarter, right, and I have some left over that I can get a couple of 2.5-inch squares or something in, I cut that right away, generally speaking. But having your scraps to like process it's a great thing to do when you like don't know what you want to do.
Hmm. Oh, I agree. Yeah. If you don't
You
have
know,
something.
like
Hmm.
yeah, if like I know I want to be in my sewing room, I know I want to play in my sewing room, but I'm not in the mood to sew,
Yeah.
then I'll just like put on a show
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll just like so like
Play with
that's
fabric.
for me
Yeah.
like that's how I get ahead with
Well,
it.
exactly. But I mean, it's also, I mean, it's a soothing activity just to sort scraps and stuff. But also, I mean, it's giving you the, I don't know what to make. I don't know what colors to put together. And that's a really useful activity. Um, yeah, I also feel like it's the kind of thing that you can knock it out while you're watching TV or something. Like
Yeah.
you could do double duty because it doesn't really take that much. Like, you know.
Yeah, or you know, like when people constantly talk about how like, oh, I lost my sojo, you know, how do I get it
Mhm.
back? And I'm like, for me, I just if I just go like and start like petting fabric,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just like sit in my sewing room and I'll just stare at fabric.
Hmm.
But yeah, I find sometimes if I just, you know how people like force themselves to work out and they're like, I'll just commit to 15 minutes, you know, that kind of thing. Usually that's what I end up doing is I'll be like,
I
I'll
can
just,
so I can so easily commit to 10 or 15 minutes with fabric. Try to commit to 10 or 15 minutes of exercise.
I
Forget
understand.
that. Yeah. So Mardim says, too whimsical. If I cut 5-inch squares, I inevitably want 6-inch squares. Indeed.
Well, to be fair though, like I said, I don't process everything. This room does have a lot of yardage in it, and I have a literal fat quarter obsession.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about processing things, I iron and fold my fat quarters so that they will fit into these CD towers.
My mom has a shelving system with these little I guess they're like part bins. They're little cardboard bins that I think they use in stores, maybe that sell, I don't know, small parts and things. And she got me a thing of them, and I still have them in a closet, like up in the closet. They're
Mm-hmm.
shrink wrapped, they're just stashed away. But they do, if you do like the narrow fold
Yep.
with a fat quarter, so probably there's the CD size, and then if you fold that in half, you got the narrow folded one. And so she's got a whole bunch of her fat quarters done. I actually did some of it for her by color. It was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, oh yes, the
Yeah.
tidying up is sometimes a comforting act. It is, and I keep looking at my cutting table. Guys, what's behind the quilts that hang behind me is the messiest cutting table in the universe. A giant stack of quilts and crap, and then my family walking back and forth. So that's why I stay in this little, and the sound is better and the light is better when I, kind of create this little space. But my cutting table right now is literally like got piles of detritus since Christmas. And it's all things that really need to, just be put away and organized. And I walk past it and I'm like, oh, I've got this other important thing I need to do, like making a tiny pot holder. So, but that is my plan actually for this evening slash tomorrow is sort of to step away from my other priorities and just clean that freaking table off so that clean table, clean mind, like. Oh, Mario Dim. I have convinced hubby that I need orphan drawers from an old treadle machines for organizing fat quarters and large scraps. Absolutely. You know what? You can't always work with shelving. Shelving sometimes just doesn't fit in your space. And I wholeheartedly endorse sewing machine drawers. I have a couple. They are fabulous.
Yes, I do too. I have some that people have built into actual like units. That's not up here. I just pulled this fabric out of the closet that was part of my mom's stash, and I have this in multiple colorways. I Let's see, does it have the selvage on it? I love this print. Um, no, I don't have any like you'll probably tell me where it's from.
Oh, that's so cute. I don't know what that is. The
Oh,
little heart sort of.
I have this in so many colorways.
So Robin is working on getting the Sojo back. And you know what? I think that's a very good idea that your granddaughter wants a big puffy quilt, because what better way to get your Sojo back than by making something for somebody else? It almost always works for me. Seriously considering starting a Hexie project also. A Hexie project's one of those things you can just work on it forever. And Bisbee has a question for you, Jill. How many quilts do you make in a year?
That's the cutest question I've ever heard. I don't know what on earth made you think I actually make the quilts.
You buy the supplies and you buy the pattern and you might cut some
I
stuff
do,
out.
I do piecing. Okay. So I have been quilting, I use quotations, since 2014. It's 11 years. I have completed uh probably 7 or 8 tops. I have completed, and those are all varying sizes, mostly smaller tops, like baby size and around
Okay.
there. I have completed actual quilts, like start to finish done. 2. Um, and one of them is massive. It's 90 by 90. It's insane. And the only reason I finished it is because I had a bet with friends. We started it. It is a Bonnie Hunter quilt. We started it at Bonnie Hunter's retreat house one year where we all met. I was there with a girlfriend of mine, and all of us met. And Steph, these are all those gals that you met
Mm-hmm.
in Pennsylvania. And we knew we were going to go back to that retreat house with the exact same group of people the next year. And we started it in a class with Bonnie that year. So we had a bet of finishing it for the next year, because if you go to Bonnie Hunter's retreat house, she has a big antique farmhouse in the mountains of Virginia on the border of North Carolina. And it's got this massive farmer's porch that wraps around like the entire house. And she has a tradition of having the quilters hang quilts along. And she goes down into the driveway, which is like 2 stories down, and takes a picture of everyone. If you look at her blog, you'll see all kinds
Yeah,
of
I
old
think I've
photos.
seen this. Yeah, I think I've seen those
So
pictures.
the goal was finish the quilt by the following year so we can all hang our quilts on the balcony, because everyone was making them different. They were all different colors, and there were 11, 12, 10, 11 of us, something like that. Only like 5 of us finished. And so my problem is I don't like it when things start to get big. I love piecing. I love
Mm-hmm.
piecing the block. Like that is my jam. Once we start getting into rows and we start putting them rows together, I'm not having a good time anymore. So, and especially I've never made something that big. 90 by 90 is pretty freaking big.
Yeah, it
And
is.
this particular quilt is a lot of Bonnie quilts are very seam heavy. And this thing was so heavy. I had pictures, um, and I finished this quilt at my aunt's cabin in Maine because she has this really long dining room table. I didn't have anywhere else that could hold all that
Mm-hmm.
crap while I'm trying to sew it. And I have, if I find them, I'll have to show you guys. I have pictures. I had to pin 7,000 intersections. I am a pinner. But everything's so heavy. I have pictures of these rows on the kitchen counter being held up on either end with peanut butter jars so that they don't like slide off the counter. And then by the time and then like I have 700 pins in it. I'm like, then have to manhandle this thing over to my machine. There's pins like in my boobs and like all kinds of places. And by the time finally finished the last seam, I didn't even open it and iron it, or I just folded it up because I was about ready to throw it in the trash. And then I took it to my girlfriend who did the long arming for me, and I brought her everything else. And I said, "You are piecing the back, you're piecing the binding, you're putting on the binding, charge me for it. I'm so over this quilt." To be fair, like full disclosure, it costs like with the quilting. I think I bought batting from her too. I don't think I brought batting. Doing the piece in the back, piece in the binding, putting on the binding, it cost like $500 to finish that quilt
Mm-hmm.
because of all the labor. But I didn't, again, back to that disposable income period, I didn't give a crap. I was just like, oh, I think I might have had her put a hanging sleeve on it too. I don't remember, but I was over it. Other than that, I'm far more likely to finish smaller quilts, like lap size and
Mm-hmm.
under. I did finish a baby quilt for my brother and sister-in-law. So yeah, I am really good at starting quilts. I am not necessarily super great at finishing them. So
Yeah, I mean, I think I know I certainly. So you made Bisbee Crafts laugh. You also disappointed Bisbee Crafts greatly. Um, Myro Dim says, I'm kidding. Myro Dim says, a $500 piece of mind. I agree. Let's see.
well, and
LJ says,
luckily,
LJ says, it is finished.
uh, yes, I had that quilt machine quilted, and um 2011. I started in 2014. My mother died very suddenly in 2013, and I inherited her 30-year stash. Um, and I knew at that time what that was worth. I knew how much money she had sitting in that room because I'd worked in the industry for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And she had things like one of the things she has that Steph, I think you said you want, don't you? Is her sewing machine table. Is it you that wants it? It might be Lydia. I forget.
Yeah, it might be
She is
somebody
one
else.
of those really fancy koala
Mm-hmm.
tables
Yeah.
that won't fit. I'm not interested in it. And I forget. It was maybe it's Lydia. Somebody wants it, and I'm like, you're gonna move it out of here. Like, it was like assembled in the room. So, but she has one of those really nice things. I remember when she bought it, it was 3,000 freaking dollars, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't care about those kinds of things. I don't buy the real fancy machines. The newest machine I have is her Bernina 1090S from the 1990s. Like I, I don't need it to do like if it's gonna do my laundry, like then we'll talk. But like I don't need it to do. I just need it to straight stitch. Like that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So I don't spend my money on that fancy stuff. So it's like I know what this stuff is worth. So maybe I'll give it a try before I try to liquidate. And here we are. Now I do, oh my God, like my whole life does all kinds of quilting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's making or something else in the industry or talking about, like who knew that that's where we would have never met had that not happened. All of us. I would have never met
Yeah.
any of you
Yeah.
had all of that not happened. Um and yeah, like I um
Yep, I think that we have a mix here. So Bisbee likes to finish the quilt top. It's the sandwich and quilting that is exhausting. Yes. Um,
I
yeah.
like the quilt top if it's small. Now I really should get them all together. I really got in for like a minute into um what's it called? Sewing bonus units. So
Bonus units?
let's say you're
I
gonna make flying geese
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna make it like that method where like we have a rectangle and you do the stitch and flip corners and you're gonna have all that waste
Mm-hmm.
and you sew an extra seam to make a half square triangle unit out of that.
Okay.
I have like 3 quilts that I made just in my brain. I wasn't following anyone's pattern that are all made out of the stitch and flip corners
Oh,
from
okay.
each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one ends up being like I don't know, a wall hanging size, not big. Then there's one that's smaller out of it. And then there's one that's like this big. And it's just gonna sit in a frame. And it's just all these little half square triangles out of the leftovers
Yeah,
of
I do,
like
and that's what LJ says, the leftovers. Yeah, I think those are also that's a fun thing to do, and I know people have all kinds of strategies for what to do with leftover stuff, like making a pillow, with the leftovers as like the cuff of the pillow, or a bag, like a storage bag, or using them on the backing, or I think I love
hmm
that. I think that's so
hmm
cool.
I have a whole
Um,
bin of just like orphan blocks.
Ooh, so LJ says, Jill, I will have to send you an image of 40 crumb units that I gave away, 5x5 small leftovers.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. Who was it? Gosh, one of the quilt nerds that was doing a lot of crumb quilting. Um, was it Cindy? She was a traveling nurse. I want to say she was doing a lot
Maybe.
of
I
crumb.
I
Yeah.
know I know there was a point where I had showed a crumb quilt I made
Mm-hmm.
on there that I
Yeah.
was gonna like
And
embellish.
yeah, LJ's work is absolutely impeccable. She has sent me pictures before, so I bet your crumb units are probably gorgeous.
Ooh, I just found a tiny little embroidered towel that I had sitting in here.
Aw, that's cute. A little flower cellar.
Isn't that cute?
Very adorable. Mario Dim loves handwork, hates machine work. Daughter is the opposite. Yes. See, that's when you make a great team, and I know that's how you and your daughter knock out all those projects, because you can like, oh, it's a yo-yo doggy.
Yeah.
Oh
This
gosh.
is the sister to your yo-yo doggy.
Yes, that's probably the first thing I ever bought from you, wasn't it? Was the yo-yo
Yep.
dog? Mm-hmm.
LJ said, "This is interesting, Jill. Thanks. Are you?" She's like, I'm writing a tell-all book. Can you imagine now? Wow, we've given her some really good stuff today. The cake side is all about eating dog
Oh
treats and
my gosh.
styrofoam.
You guys, if in a couple years we are, we have reached like TMZ level, you guys are going to have so much juicy dirt on us. I guess we better hope we never get that famous.
You know
Robin
what?
says Robin says one of her besties does nothing but crumbing. I love that.
Ooh, I found even more of that green fabric I showed you stuff.
I've been working through, so our friend, you guys know Kate. She her quilt guild she's the find a home for it other than the landfill person for her guild. And some of the older women in her guild are getting rid of some good stuff. So she'll send me pictures, and before she takes it to the recycle place, the reuse recycle place. And I have been getting some really good Cranston stuff. You guys, it's good to be friends with people that have access to these things. And so I've been working on my quilt study. Quilt is using a lot of the Cranston and Ely Walker, Peter Pan, all those like prints from the 60s and 70s. And I keep finding like these glorious greens, and like I don't know, I don't think that this is any one of the major fabric companies, but I do know that it's probably from the 70s, and just they're these little flowers and little hearts and things are just so cute. So I finished his pot holder, his second pot holder. Let's see how this one fits well. He has two left hands.
His second cactus. Didn't you say you were putting a loop on?
I did.
My God, that loop is so tiny. How did you even see that? Like,
when your hands.
It's a wonder we didn't see you go cross-eyed.
Well, I sewed the loop. I stitched the stitching on the loop last night. But yeah, it's easy. I don't mind working with tiny things. So, I mean, because Babraham has two left hands, thank goodness, pot holders are ambidextrous. So.
Now, did he need those because you're having him make you a styrofoam peanut casserole later, or?
Well, I mean, no. he's making inedible but real looking small foods. So he's got a very special role in things. Maybe not necessarily the quilting and sewing world, but definitely in this my art project. And he's really indecent right now. He's walking around in his underwear and his shirt all.
Steph, what's going on over at your house?
He tried to fit into this, and I mean, you guys saw this on the stream the other day.
Is this another reason why no one wants to come to your house? Is because like people are just all naked up in there and like
no, people are like, you have an awful lot of toys and things. So this adorable little
Did you make that?
No, I did not. One of our dear friends sent it to me.
Oh.
So cute. And I thought, ooh, it's about the right size for him, right? And then I realized because he's got this weird, all right, Abe, I'm gonna have to show off your weird body. He's got this very weird long body. So he suffers from the situation where, have you ever tried to buy a jumpsuit or a onesie type of outfit and it just, if you have a strangely sized torso, like I'm very high-waisted, but like, from crotch to neck or shoulder, it like if you don't have the right measurement for something off the rack, it's gonna be like up your butt, like constant wedgie, or you're walking around like this, or you can't get it up.
Wow, so, what's shopping with you like?
Unfortunately, Babraham suffered from that with this little outfit. And everybody was like, girl, I haven't tried a onesie ever for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Druid says...
I do miss overall.
Yes, overalls, you had the straps that you could... you can usually adjust those and make it longer. So Druid says he suffers from moose knuckle. Myro Dim says camel footsie. LJ had forgotten about the two left hands. Well, Babraham appreciates that. Yeah, he's quite delightful. And it was really funny as when I first made him, it was early pandemic, and I can't remember if I told you guys, I have all of these Shackman kits that, I mean, at one point you could get them for nothing, like $5. I actually had a guy who has like a whole case of it's their baby dolls, so it's the baby head and arms and feet, and I bought one from him because I was working on this project, and he's like, and I think I paid $3. It probably cost him more to ship it to me than I actually paid for the little kit. And he's like, do you want a whole case of them? And I'm like, no, not right now, and people were so eager to get rid of them. But anyway, so long story short, I made him because I was really fascinated by these kits, and I actually have another project. I've been working on it now for 5 years. But that actually uses these things. But, yeah, so that's the story about him. So anyway, I made him, and I took this picture of him. One of my friends, he's not an artist, or he works in the financial field. He was like the only one that commented on the picture, and he was like, "That is a nightmare if I ever saw one." And I was like, "What? He's cute. He's got pink hair and this like really fabulous body. You know, like the fabric I used on his body is just like, I mean, look at it. It's fabulous. I love it so much, but I guess my taste is different.
He was just trying to yuck your yum.
Exactly. Druid says, I'm short, but my torso is long. Yep. It's, you know, it's like if your dimensions are not a certain way for things.
I thought you were
like...
gonna say if you're demented.
But seriously, I mean, this is one of the things that like people always have trouble, you know, if your inseam is really long, if you're generally people that are tall sometimes will have really long legs, and I mean I suffer from this too. I'm very high-waisted. I've got long legs, so my jeans are always like high water, but like I'm always yanking them up because they never quite come up high enough because my waist is way up, you know? Such a pain in the butt. And I feel like more of us suffer from that kind of stuff than don't. So, you know, that's why it irritates me.
In silence.
Well, I mean, it irritates me that, I mean, we put up with this from the fast fashion, you know? There is no if with cake. Today she eliminated all doubt. Oh, you guys have so much dirt on me now. Yeah, Robin says high-waisted, 36-inch inseam. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the thing is, I mean, like, nowadays, we do have access to independent patterns. There's a couple of indie pattern companies that, they are so well drafted that they always fit me if I sew them. The problem with sewing clothes is it takes forever, and it's just like making a quilt. The fabric is going to cost you far more, you know? So, oh, Bisbee, I'm so glad you were able to come by. Jill, Bisbee's not disappointed in you. I was lying.
You're so mean.
Quilts get done in their own time, indeed. So it was so good to see you. I'm so glad you came.
I have to say, like, the fact of like buying fabric, playing with fabric, all those things is a much different hobby than quilting. Like, now that being said, I haven't bought fabric really in like since probably like since around 2022. I've stayed away. But yeah, I sometimes I like playing with fabric more than I like sewing fabric.
Well, you know, they've always say buying fabric and quilting or sewing are two different things. I mean, I really almost look at like buying fabric. I mean, it is like collecting. It's like just collecting anything that's decorative and pretty to look at.
Yeah.
My cousin collects lip gloss and chapsticks. God. She has a spreadsheet for all of them. She has a tiny little.
Just so we're clear, though, this isn't not the same thing.
No, I know, but in terms of like just the oddball things that people collect, fabric is not a weird thing to collect, in my opinion. You know?
No. Chapstick is a weird thing to collect.
Having a spreadsheet for your chapstick is extremely strange. She kind of has a neat little display system for it. There's you've probably seen
displaying your chapstick is weird.
You know, those little I guess they're for cosmetics. I mean, I've seen them. I don't know what they're called, but they're like clear, and they might have like a thing on the end like that's upright that you put like your makeup brushes in, and then it would have little drawers. And so she has kind of like some big ones, and they all have these clear little drawers, and she displays all the chapsticks and the EOS and all the things.
The other thing is, like, who wants to come over and look at your displayed chapstick? Like, normally if you're displaying them, it's for someone, but like, who?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some exotic chapsticks, you know, like Korean cosmetics.
What is exotic chapstick?
Like cosmetics, like Korean cosmetics, Japanese cosmetics. They'll be like the cases, the little like containers are cute and interesting. Like, I understand collecting that stuff.
You have crossed over to the dark side here.
No, I mean, come on. We all can say we love a little, you know, like a little tchotchke, a cute little tchotchke. And that's kind of, I feel like, what some...
Chapstick is not a tchotchke.
If you buy like a Korean cosmetic brand of lip stuff, it might be in an adorable little...
Yeah, maybe once it's empty. Come on. So who's with me here? Like,
I have some Korean face like a night cream. It comes and it's banana scented and it comes literally in a banana. You screw one end of the banana off and get the the lotion out of it. It is cute as hell. It's the kind of thing like if I ever end up finishing it, it will be a very adorable little display item.
yes,
That's the kind of stuff that
finish it.
well, exactly.
It's basic.
So
It's almost like to me, it's like the equivalent of like anthropomorphizing your chapstick collection.
yeah, I guess.
Like, here's my Barbies.
Mara Dim's husband collects astroscan telescopes from a defunct company. They have 4 and he wants to double the collection. My husband is the same way. I don't want to look at his camera crap.
But those are not chapstick.
I don't know. I mean, people collect Pez dispensers.
Again,
I don't. I just happen to have a Kermit at my desk. I don't collect them.
I feel like we could talk about almost any tchotchke child thing and you have it on your desk.
It's entirely possible I do. I have lots of puppets and toys. I have Dungeons and Dragons dice because I did a
Just as you do.
well, but I did a roll for research. I wasn't. Oh, you weren't at that stream. I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of some museums, and then I rolled the dice to figure out which museum we were going to look at. Didn't go great. we saw some fun stuff, but yeah, it wasn't quite as exciting as I had hoped.
Oh.
But we try things. We try things. We throw spaghetti at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm quite pleased. I think I'm quite pleased with Babraham's second pot holder. And what do you guys think? Do you think it looks good?
I think it looks good.
I thought I could draft a pattern for him. He could have his own pot holder pattern.
So now you're pimping him out as a model?
Indeed, yeah. I think this one looks better than this one. Like everyone says, this one looks like a cactus, unfortunately. But I think this looks much more.
I don't know why. Something with the pattern.
What?
It's looking like the cacti.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking cactillus.
Yeah, this is one of the things that always bothered me, like when I was a kid, about trying to get your dolls to and their accessories and things to work together, and you end up with some type of accessory dollhouse thing that is just way too big. Like it's too big, or it's too clunky. It doesn't look right because it's not sized scaled properly. So I wanted to get it right with this.
And now what? Is he going to be like, is he gonna cook all the meals for the cult or something? Or
Yes. Abraham needs an I'm too sexy moment. Indeed he does. I'm too sexy for my pot holder. Yeah, you guys are familiar with you guys know the shrimp cocktail. You're quite familiar with his shrimp cocktail. I have a new one for him. It is baked potatoes. They're literally in foil. They have sour cream, which I think is the resin, the glue, and chives. So that's his next meal that he's cooking. So this is why he needed a pot holder, because baked potatoes are hot, right? Baked potatoes. Little plate.
baked potatoes are delicious.
Yeah. So Abraham, yes, this is why he needs a pot holder, because he's going to be baking baked potatoes. So I have to say that these little mini brands things, sometimes the scale on these is weird. It's not quite right, but I think for the most part, like, these baked potatoes are just about right. They're maybe a little small for him, but I mean, he's a tall man, so. And yes, you guys should have absolutely no surprise that I've leaned into AI, because I will anthropomorphize any toy or puppet that is in my vicinity.
How pretty is this fabric that looks all like repro and stuff?
Oh, that's pretty. That looks like wallpaper, like a very
Yeah,
pretty
kind
wallpaper. So Mara Dim says that you need to clip that. You'll want that too sexy for my pot holder clip.
of. I would say that this particular stream has quite a lot of clipping gold for, things like, have you ever thought about what to do on a Saturday night? Stephanie here has recipes for eating packing peanuts.
Sriracha. I bet they're delicious with just a little sprinkle of tahini.
And you said that with your whole chest.
You know, when there's a thing that other people have decided is wrong about you, the thing that I like to do is just to lean in. I used to, as a child, I'd be embarrassed when people would find out like something weird about me. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have made a dire error. I'm going to run away from this. Like, the floor is lava. But, that is bowing down to what other people what other people think about you. And I'm a good person. I don't hurt anybody. I don't commit crimes. I mean, yes, lean in and lick the packing peanuts. You guys get me. Come on. Even if you've never done such a bizarre thing. And I don't think it's so bizarre. That's going to be a new, maybe that's a new catchphrase for the Fringe Fellowship. Lean in and lick the dog food. Life is short. So what are you doing in there now? What are you looking for? What are you putting away?
I'm not looking for anything. I am better. So like the fabric on these shelves, I just like threw in here as I was just making trips to clear out the other sewing room. So I'm better stacking them on the shelves so that I can release those top shelves. I already have one almost completely released, but you want to have some 1930s repro in your back into your.
Oh, I love those little teeny tiny little
flowers.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's.
I might have something similar to that in my scrap bag over there.
Oh, this is one of those prints where like they put the color all the way to the end of the selvage, so there's no like mark on it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was from Mom's stash. Yeah, I only have like one little stack left, and I have released this.
Oh yeah, that is day dress fabric. Absolutely, yes, house dress fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, it's already 20 after 4. How quickly time goes by when you're making tiny pot holders and talking about eating inedible items. I discovered something possibly disappointing right before we came on. Not disappointing for me, of course, but my husband had to work today, and I went in the refrigerator earlier. I made a bagel, so I went in to get the cream cheese.
Stole the leftovers you were going to eat.
No, actually, the leftovers from last night, I packed them up knowing that he would probably want them because, again, he had to work today. And so I look in, and there are these chicken bowl things. So it's like this pretty delicious, like diced chicken with like a chili sauce on it and rice, and there was a carrot and cucumber pickled salad, and then like a sauce that goes on top. Well, the sauce and the salad are still sitting in the refrigerator. So I was like, did this man take chicken and rice with like nothing to put on top of it?
Ew.
And the thing is, like, if it was me, I would have just left it on ice or, put it in the refrigerator and eaten something different so that I could go back and get the condiments. But knowing my husband, he just ate it. And now we have condiments that don't go with anything. And that is why I constantly have to clean stupid stuff out of my refrigerator. Because I was like, if you could take all of the leftover that's meant to go together with you and eat it, then it's not like a half a meal sitting in the refrigerator, that nobody's going to touch.
Why can't they do anything right?
I don't know.
I cleared off that upper shelf.
Nice.
And all I had to do was squish fabric together better.
Well, you've inspired me. I'm gonna try to this evening. After I feed the man that is probably ate an unsatisfactory lunch, I am going to go clean my table off.
I have to say, having like people to chat with while I'm doing this boring thing is very helpful.
It is nice. It is nice to have people cheering you on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I only really touched one, two, three, four shelves. And there's still plenty of room on the shelves out here. I think I really do enjoy ruler folding my fabric, but I think I'm probably losing the mojo on continuing that.
It's a lot of work.
Well, especially for yardage. I definitely will
Mhm,
keep ruler folding my fat quarters to make them
mhm,
fit. I have a
yeah.
lot.
Well, I know
Um,
our friend Mama is a fan on Twitch. I know she did a video that went viral over how she folds up her yardage, and she basically makes these mini bolts out of all of her Amazon boxes. And I think it's like she has a measurement of what she cuts
mhm.
out of the box, and she just probably like your Bonnie Hunter scrap system. When she gets the boxes, she cuts them all up and has them ready. And
I am
yeah,
not a
she
fan of the mini bolt because it doesn't use it's a waste of space in my opinion. Because like
mm-hmm,
those mini bolts on these bookshelves could only go long. I
mm-hmm,
can fit way more stacking up
mm-hmm,
in, you know what I mean? So I
yeah,
was gonna do that at one point. Um, a good box to make mini bolts is the large square USPS free boxes for
mm-hmm,
priority because all of the sides, everything is the same
right,
with
yeah.
it. So I had a bunch cut and ready to go, but I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, and probably should come as absolutely no surprise that my scrap system is a Rubbermaid tub that's big enough to put a human body in. And I would just open it and throw stuff in there. Now, right now, it's it's full. So I have sort of some bags and boxes and things I've been putting scraps in. I really need to go do like a big destash and get rid of the
Yeah,
big stuff and yeah.
sometimes with my scraps, like, so, well, let's just say I have a piece of actual yardage that is ugly and I hate it, but I don't mind the color. When you're just dealing with scrap stuff, it's just color. And a Bonnie Hunter saying is if it's still ugly, cut it smaller. Um, so I might decide I'm never going to use this as a big print, so I'll just throw it right into the scrap bin, even if it's 2 yards, and I'll slowly cut away at it. Well, at a certain point, it will start to dominate my scrap user system, and I'll be like, it's time to cull this out of my stuff because I want variety. And like I'll like swap scraps with my girlfriends.
Yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah, to get well, actually it's funny, when I was with those girls retreating in Pennsylvania, if you remember, we
Yeah.
had a thing where we brought quote crap you don't want anymore.
Mhm.
And we put it all out on the table and it was just take whatever you want. The rule is though, the only rule was if all your stuff isn't gone, you have to take whatever's left over back home with you. And it
Mhm.
was funny because while we were retreating at that house, Steph came by to visit, and Barb Garrett came by because I was buying some stuff from her. And there were just a couple of things left. And I had said to Barb, like, hey, are you interested in some stuff? And she was like, who do I pay for these? It was a bunch of red work patterns. And I'm like, nobody. This is
Yeah.
just like, we don't
Take it.
want this crap.
Take it.
Yeah. So we actually turned out there was one gal that was gonna have a little stack of stuff to take home, but because Barb at the last minute swooped in, no one had to take any crap home.
I love that. Yeah. I sometimes will take I'll take the dregs sometimes because they are definitely things that like ugly fabric you can use it to test things out. I use it as like foundation backing you
Hmm.
know, it never gets seen, or to make like a practice, you know, because I do self sculpture stuff too. And it
Hmm.
is very good for, and you just don't care about it because you're like, make a mistake, who cares? Grab another piece of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Robin said using comic book boards. I know a lot of people do those. But yeah, like it gets to a point where it's like really big and fat. It doesn't fit in there very well.
Yeah, if you have a small stash, like that kind of system can work great, but
Well,
mine's
I mean,
too
I
big.
think people that are very gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're very very organized and, you know, like I guess just have higher standards than I do. Um, that just have those beautiful like shelves that are all like, you know, again, like the however they do the mini bolts or the stacks like you do, and they're folded perfectly. It looks like a fabric store and everything's, you know, color like I look at that and I think it's so beautiful, and I'm just like that's a extra full-time job. I just want to make this stuff. I don't want to organize it. And yes, it
Oh, I
irritates the
love
crap out of me.
organizing it.
It irritates the crap out of me when I can't find something because, you know, I knew I had a yard of this somewhere. Like, which of the bins is it in, or which of the
Yeah,
shelves is it?
I
Like,
really on occasion, like not all the time, but I do get an organizational bug and I feel
mm-hmm.
very accomplished. That's probably one of the things is organizing fabric. You don't have to organize much of it in order to feel very accomplished.
Yeah,
So like if there's a part of you that just like needs a little serotonin boost for the day, like I cleaned off some stuff and put some stuff away on this cutting table. It's almost clean. Like, like I didn't
yeah,
have to
it
do
is.
that much.
It's a very good feeling, I think. And yes, I get that. I don't want to make it sound like I am a complete like chaos, but I think my challenge is like I really should like organize and put things away as I go. Like that is really probably the best way. But I'm one of those people that's like, I gotta be in chaos. Oh, that's cute. Oh my goodness, look at that. Sewing and cats.
It's a
I,
little pouch.
yes. But yeah, I'm the kind of person that's like, I need to create in chaos. I can't stop. Like I need to keep creating
Oh,
as long as I
I'm
have
under
the energy and the ideas. And then it's like, okay, now I gotta clean this up, and it's gotta be this big production because I haven't been, you know,
You're
taking
so
care of it on my
cute
own.
if you think that I'm creating in a clean place. Like, I should show you my cutting table that I actually like work on and my sewing table. It's insane. Like, don't don't
Understand.
let don't let the few pretty bookshelves fool you. Like, it's all just meant to be smoke and mirrors.
So I'm seeing how do these work on other people on my desk? So um
What?
Harriet Tubman's like, no sis, I'm not interested in cooking. Okay. Word. Um uh-oh. Double T. Are these gonna fit you? Oh, maybe the big one will. No, not quite. You're gonna have your own. You have to make your own pot holders. Well, that kind of fits. Maybe turtles have leathery hands though, right? You almost have like your own built-in pot holders.
How many turtle hands have you played with?
I don't they have scaly little clawed hands.
I just uh,
My husband worked for a wildlife program for a long time. I'm quite
And what, they
familiar.
had like a Saturday pet a turtle hand kind of
Well,
event?
he would bring home turtles, you know, and yes, they do have like a red eared sliders tank, and I'm pretty familiar with turtles. Oh, that one's way too small, but did you see him making a little plate of cookies, a little tray of cookies out of the oven? Oh, that's not gonna work. I was trying to get the place. I need to rig up a like a puppeting station so them they can really cook. So Robin says, I have to start with a clean slate. A clean space can handle the chaos while I'm working until it gets to be too much. Yeah, then you have to clean the chaos. I do like the idea of, I mean, I think it's a good idea of like when you're going to work on a big project, like make a whole quilt, that you start with the clean space and you start with, just the fabric for that quilt. Any kind of big project like that. I think my challenge is I get bored very easily, and so I have to have multiple projects going on at the same time.
Oh yeah, me too.
And like my little sewing area where I sit on the couch when my husband and I are watching TV, I have I think I probably mentioned this a long time ago. I have one of those hospital tables, that like slides over the bed. I bought one just to slide over the end of my couch because I was tired of junk falling off the arms, behind the couch. And it's perfect. It's wonderful. But it starts to pile up with stuff. Like I'll bring more spools of thread over there, and I have to clean it up like mid-project because I have too many things going on there. Yeah, Jan tries to tidy between projects. I mean it's the best way. To put the tools away, to put, I'm bad for having the project bag that has a certain pair of scissors in there or a certain pincushion in there, and then I forget about it. So I'm bad about that too. That's why I probably own 80 seam rippers and none of them are in a place where they're handy. Because they're with all the different projects. What are you doing now?
I'm doing more condensing so that I can fit more stuff because I have fabric even on like the lowest shelves in here because again I was just shoving in and I'd like to not have them on the lowest shelves so that maybe I can put like machines or something.
Yeah, that's what I think is useful. Bottom of the shelf are like kind of the heavy things that
or even just like some tubs, that might have some things in it.
Stuff. Yeah, because it's not nice to call your stuff shit all the time. All the shit and crap I have.
Yeah. I mean, and even like on the shelves out here, if I feel like I'm not likely to continue doing much ruler folding, at least of yardage, I can rearrange and condense all this out here. Again, I just threw it on, and when I was throwing on the ruler folded stuff, I kept a lot of space because it's color coded. I kept a lot of space between different colors, so I can kind of undo some of them.
I do like the idea of organizing things by color. That's a very satisfying thing to me. It also stresses me out because the very short period of time I worked at JoAnns Fabrics, and you had to, at least mine, you had to observe this color, transition.
Rainbow thing.
Yeah. And it made sense. It wasn't like it was oddball. They had brown in a place I did not like. Brown was between like yellow and orange, I think. No. Yeah. Brown was between yellow and
green. Wasn't between like orange and black?
No, black and white are at the end. But you start with pink. I think it's pink, red, orange, yellow, brown, green. You have your multiple blues, and then you get into violet, purple, then black and white. Yeah, that would make me crazy because inevitably I would have everything laid out, all ready to go. And of course, my store had so much fleece. Everybody knows. So much fleece. You always were constantly moving like the regular fabric to make more room for fleece. And I would have everything perfect.
And then they'd have more fleece.
Yeah. Or there would be something like in the middle. Like somebody would say, oh, we have this big stack of green. So then I would have to be like, so you got move the yellows and then move the blues. And
Luckily, when I worked for JoAnns, the fleece thing wasn't a thing. That came many years later.
And it's funny, like now with them going out of business and I'm just, reading a whole lot of stuff. Robin says, JoAnns and their color organization was nice. Was screwy and brown was in the wrong place. Exactly. I feel like brown is a neutral. It should go with like, black and white. But anyway. I just listening to people talk, like the fleece was just absurd. Like, who decided? Like, why? It just made
Hold
no
on.
sense whatsoever.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to move spaces again.
Okay.
Keep
Um,
talking.
but yeah, so people that were saying like, oh, my JoAnns store is in like Arizona or New Mexico, someplace where even when it's cold, it's never really that cold. Like, people don't want fleece blankets, you know. And just to have so much of it, and it's very poor. It's poor quality. I would buy the licensed fleece, like the football team. Like, I bought a bunch of Ravens fleece. Gosh, it was probably a few years before the pandemic, and I made like cute stocking caps for everybody out of it, and they were very cute, little, like a little pom pom at the top, but and they're super fast and easy to make with fleece because they don't ravel, and that they were perfect. That, and my husband and my brother-in-law love those hats and wear them to this day. But that's like, I think it takes literally a quarter of a yard to make one of those. And fleece would just, I mean, oh God, it was coming out of our ears, and it was just, and it's bad for the environment, like fleece is where all of those little, microplastic fibers come off that stuff. And it's not good. It's just not good. I's a baby. She's like, Cake, you're not stealing my treats.
She's like super bed face right now because she's been sleeping.
She's been napping, and she's like, you woke me up.
Yeah, so I will say with the fleece thing, if you remember in like 2000, what year did you work for JoAnns?
It was like 2016, late 2016 into 2017.
Oh,
It was probably about a
so
year.
that's okay. Yeah, so that's much later than I'm talking about. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to say like probably around 2002. It's probably when the fleece thing started. Do you remember there was this big craze about making these like no sew or
Yeah.
minimal sew scarves that you cut into?
Yeah, and the blankets too, the throws. It's like you use two pieces, you sandwich them
That
together.
came quite a bit later
Yeah.
though. The
And
scarves
then
are
you
the ones that were
clip it, yeah.
bananas 1st. But so there's that. So that's I feel like that's when the fleece craze kind of started. And then I will say that in the 20 teens, there was a big fleece craze because of making like people, the average Joe sewer, making pet bedding out of
Hmm.
fleece. And I can speak from experience um because it was a big thing to make sugar glider pouches out of fleece
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
their fingernails wouldn't catch on it like
yeah,
other
there's a
fabric.
lot of, yes, absolutely. There are a lot of uses for it. And somebody just said, was it Robin? Somebody just said they made backings with the no pill fleece. Some of that was actually quite
I
nice.
don't think no pill fleece exists. I think it's a lie.
Yeah, so, well, there is I want to say, if I remember correctly, there's three levels of fleece when I was working there. There was like the cheap
Hmm.
crap fleece, and then there is the nicer fleece. It's almost like, I don't know. It just, it feels like a nicer,
Was it the Arctic fleece or something?
maybe. And then there was the high performance fleece. Now, the high performance fleece was the nice stuff, and I actually made myself a couple of things. Like, I made some mittens and a hat. That stuff was nice. It's thin, it doesn't pill. Very nice. Like, that was worth whatever I bought it for, coupon, with a coupon. But
Hmm.
um a few bolts of that's all they needed. They did not need,
Oh my
you know
God.
I mean, fleece is great for making like children's costumes, and just, it's like felt.
Hmm.
It's just, cheap
You
stuff.
know,
It's
speaking of felt, I feel like when I was a kid, felt was a big deal. And
Mhm.
now I feel like no one gives a rat's patoot about felt. Why? What happened with felt?
uh I don't know. I mean, I always thought felt has kind of always been a thing with kids. I knew when Connor was
I find
little.
that kids now, like, they don't even know what felt is.
Well, when Connor was little, we had that foam stuff, those thin sheets of foam
Yeah.
that you could
Hmm.
make kind of similar to the felt crafts that we would
Hmm.
make when we were little. Yeah, Mara says she still uses felt. I still use felt. I use well, I mean, like I mail order felt. I get the
I find like I don't even see it in stores
literally.
anymore.
Well, literally, these have felt on the inside. That's what I was
You
using for.
lined those?
Well, yeah, so that they look like they're quilted, but I didn't
Oh
want to
my
use
God,
real
I was
quilt
just like
pattern.
they're so tiny.
Well,
You
but that's
took
the
the
thing. I
time to
want them
line.
to be realistic, like, but you don't want to use quilt pattern because that's too thick. But a thin felt. Yeah.
You are something else. On the one hand,
Well,
you're like, how can I take this super microscopic project and make it more difficult?
it is. It is more. It's more lifelike. That's what it is. Yes, there are a number of companies that sell different types of felt. You can get 100% wool felt. You can get the wool blend. I like the wool poly blend. Those are pretty nice. That's what's in
Robin
here.
said my oldest granddaughter just grabbed a bunch of felt scraps from the bin the other day and hand stitched 9 of them together to make a small quilt.
Yeah, I mean felt is
That's so
great for
cute.
kids. I think I mean I am all about
I
felt.
used to use it all the time as a
Mm-hmm.
kid. I don't, and I used to, it's funny, when I was a little older, like I worked at JoAnns when I was 16. And when I used to walk by, the little areas that where they had the felt in like those little like book cubby things,
Yeah.
I it used to make me feel some type of way. And then as I became like a quilter, because I feel like when I quit JoAnns, between then and the time I became a quilter, I feel like I almost never went in there. But afterwards, like when I would go in there, like as a quilter for totally different reasons, I I would almost kind of seek out the felt section to like, get a little, nostalgia. And then I started noticing like it wasn't like there anymore. Or you know what it came? I don't know who decided this was a thing or needed to be a thing, but I started to notice like in more of kind of like the kids crafting area, they would have these plastic bags of mixed shapes of felt.
It's sometimes they would be adhesive backed. It's like
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, you just bought like that square
Mm-hmm.
of felt.
Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, they only sold felt by the yard, and it was a higher quality than those felt the felt squares or the felt 8.5 by 11. And
Hmm.
my Joanne did still have it, but they only sold it like in a couple different colors, the big bolts of it. But I think felt is like such a low bar, for kids. It doesn't fray. It's easy to cut. Like, getting kids interested in crafting and sewing things. I think felt is fantastic. Um, you can also make really nice stuff with felt. There is a pattern designer. She makes her handle is crafts. I think it's M. But she has the cutest like little Christmas stuff. She has like the 12 days of Christmas, but it's all felt, and she recommends like the higher quality like the wool blend felt. And
Hmm.
it only needs like 20% wool, and the reason you want that instead of the all polyester stuff is the all polyester stuff. I mean, it can look sleazy. It just doesn't look nice, but do not put an iron near it. And that's why it's better if you buy the stuff that's a blend. You can use a light, a warm iron on it. It'll make it look nice. But I've made some such cute ornaments with that stuff, and I mean, I love felt.
Yeah, I don't really see it
Mm-hmm.
much at all. Although I will say, in the area I'm from, we had JoAnns, which was the same JoAnns that had been there since it opened in like what, 1985. They never upgraded the building at all. That was in its own little area, and then down the street from there, we had Michael's and an AC Moore, and then in the last 10 years or something, a Hobby Lobby has opened up there too. Um, the Michael's built itself a brand new gorgeous building. Uh, and then after COVID, AC Moore shut down,
Mm-hmm.
and then that Michael's came out of its gorgeous brand new building and went into the old AC Moore
That's
building.
strange. That's
Yeah,
strange.
they downsized. Um, and Hobby Lobby is still there. So now, and the JoAnns is closing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another fabric store nearby also closed. So, pretty soon it's like, I mean, I really hope Michael's is gonna hold out because like what other
I
like
think, I
craft
think
stores are there gonna
I
be?
think Michael's is doing pretty good. I mean, I haven't heard anything, whatever kind of decisions they're making with Michael's, um, they
You
seem
mean
to be
by like
fine.
not being bought by private equity?
Yeah. Our Michael's, same situation, actually. Our Michael's was in a kind of an oddball in this weird shopping center, and then some newer stuff got built, so they moved over to a nice new space. And it is a big Michael's. Like, I have no, if there's something I need from a Michael's, like costume jewelry, making supplies, or something crafty, paper, scrapbooking paper, that kind of thing. It's a nice Michael's. I'll go there. We have a Hobby Lobby, because of the socio-political issues with Hobby Lobby. I don't tend to go there much, because I don't
Yeah,
support,
honestly,
what
I
they
am
believe in. But sometimes, like, that's your only, I gotta buy some thread, and JoAnn across the street closed down. I gotta.
I also find like I have been into the Hobby Lobby in my area a couple of times just for one because I wanted to know like at first I was
Mm-hmm.
like what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Because from the front, I don't know about yours, but like from the front, it's furniture.
Oh
And
yes,
then
all of the
you go in, it's basically almost like a JoAnn's and a Pier 1 Imports
yeah.
mated.
Yes, it's like,
And
yeah.
I'm like why? Like what? Like why? And also like some of their furniture is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is so outrageously overpriced.
Yeah, you can sometimes find stuff like on a good sale or like a clearance or something, but yeah, it is odd in that there are places that sell things so much cheaper. But I
Well,
always,
and they totally play into that gimmick. They mark it up super high
and then you get
and
the
then put
coupon.
it on sale.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
50% off. But even the 50% off, I'm like, what are you guys smoking? Like,
Well,
um,
the first Hobby Lobby I went into, like, we did not have them here. They were not on the East Coast. It was in Texas, and I could kind of see, Mardim, you're saying Michael's shut down. I could kind of see Hobby Lobby and Michael's kind of, because they're different, but there's a lot of
our
similarity
Hobby
there.
Lobby and Michael's are in the same plaza.
Yeah. Well, and that's the way it's become. Like, where I grew up, there's this gigantic shopping complex. Like, everything is there, all the restaurants, all the things. Right across the street from the mall. It's just like this horrible area that it has its own highway, exit. You avoid the area like it's the plague. But they have everything, and Michael's is in one row, Hobby Lobby's in the next one. In where I live now, they're close together. They're in different shopping centers. They're close together, but I don't think they compete. It's interesting. Like, of course, they sell some of the same stuff, but I feel like the people that go to one maybe don't frequent the other as regularly. They have their regulars, and then I think they're the people like me that are like, all of these places have the one thing I need, so I got to go to all of them. you know. But yeah, I'm
I'm
bummed. I'm
hoping,
truly bummed about JoAnn. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I haven't gone into mine yet. Um, because on the one hand, there isn't really anything I need. There's some stuff that I would stock up on just for the sake of stocking up on it, but their sales right now are junk. So, um, but yeah, half of me is like, I might as well go into the building just for nostalgia reasons. Like there's something, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but like I love the way JoAnn's smells.
it's got that.
There's
At least
something.
mine always have that weird, like, cinnamon. Um, it's
It
like,
smells like crafting
yeah,
supplies.
it's
Like it's
yes.
just
But mine always smelled like at Christmas they would have the pine cones that are cinnamon scented. I feel like the store always smelled like that, even even when it wasn't
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah, by the door. Yeah, sometimes yeah, mine would smell like that, but like and like as you walk through the building, like I don't know if your JoAnn's has a paint aisle, but mine does.
Hmm.
Um, that aisle smells like paint, and then like
Yeah,
the scrapbooking aisle smells like that paper.
paper.
And
Hmm.
I I really like those smells. Like
Yeah.
it's not a smell I'd want in my home all the time because I'd probably get a
Hmm.
headache
Hmm.
after a while.
Well, I mean,
But
it's like
it
the smell of
feels
libraries. It's like it has a nostalgia to it, kind of.
God, I love the smell of books. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it I guess I guess like in my life, there's never been a time that like some kind of like crafting has been involved where I've been sad. I only have good memories with those kinds of activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's probably why it gives me like a serotonin rush. Or I love the aisle in JoAnns that's like um bins and stuff to organize stuff. You know, like
Yes, the baskets and bins. Yeah, so
hmm
Robin says with Joanne closing, she's left with only Hobby Lobby or expensive local quilt shops for fabrics. Yeah. Um, I have heard that some Michaels are carrying fabric. Now my Hobby
Hopefully
Lobby,
they'll start.
yeah, I know some of them are, but it's never going to be like what, and well, and honestly, our Joanne, like the quilting fabrics that they had gotten were so shoddy. Um, Joanne, way back, you used to be able to, like, they would buy, I can't remember what it's called. It's like the like overstock type of things from some of the major, like Henry Miller. And I picked up some really cute stuff that were like name brand, high end quilting fabrics. But by and large, they didn't stock that stuff enough. I did like the some of the fashion stuff. Some of the fashion
Mhm.
fabrics would be
I know that's been a lot of talk for people is where are they going to get that kind of stuff now?
exactly. I mean, if you want to go buy some stretch denim, there are some expensive places like Stone Mountain Daughter. I mean, and there's the place I can't remember the name of it in
See,
New York.
you guys all need a trip over here because we have fabric stores that are discounters that sell
Yeah,
all of that home
yeah.
deck, fashion,
Virginia, yeah, Virginia has a
so
couple.
Virginia and Alexandria has, so the one we have in Natick is Fabric Place
Hmm.
Basement, and they opened a second one in Alexandria,
Yeah, and I
Virginia.
have yet to get a chance to go there, and it's on my
Oh my God,
list.
you have to
So
go there.
yeah, it's on my list. I guess.
Their average price for quilting cotton, the last I saw, I believe, is $6.99 a yard. Their boutiques, the last I saw, I think, are $8.99 a yard. They have tons of home dec and fashion. I've never paid attention to those because I
Hmm.
don't buy that kind of fabric. But he's a discounter. I know the owner.
Oh,
Um, yeah, he used to be my neighbor.
yeah. I that's one I need to check out. But yeah, like I mean, it's tough if you're, and I really have not bought new fabric in a long time, and in terms of
Mhm.
garment fabric, I'm trying to think. Like I haven't sewn a lot myself in a long time, but I've just relied on fabric I'd already bought. I probably have enough.
Oh, Robin, you
Millen's.
Milan Fabrics.
Millen's a good one.
The only one of those I've ever seen is in Maine. Although Maine also has Mardens. They get a lot of actually some fabric, closeout fabric I bought there once was the fabric line that Mary Fonz did with oh, I don't remember. It was called like little little something. They were like little conversation prints.
Hmm. Okay.
She had talked about it at one point. It's an old. She didn't do that line while she was doing Quilt Nerd. It was
Hmm.
before that.
Well,
Um,
she had a line she was working on last year, and I feel bad
yeah,
I
I
have
never
not.
heard anything about it.
Yeah, well, she did a release. She did kind of a release with the fabric company at and I'm blanking on who it is. Um, I'm terrible, but she did a thing
Wasn't it like
last.
banner text or something?
Was it Bright Tex or I can't remember. But anyway, she did a thing at QuiltCon last year about it, and it was I guess they're doing a line of, like by the decades kind of thing. And so she
Oh yeah,
had a
Robin said banner text. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was banner text.
Benartex, not Bright Tex. Yeah, Benartex. So yeah.
So wait, Robin, did you see that it got released? Because she said I've yet to find any of it anywhere. I haven't
Hmm.
paid attention because I just haven't been. The last time I went to buy fabric was I was actually just thinking about this, was in like November, October or November, because I was planning to do Bonnie Hunter's mystery quilt during Christmas, which I did start.
Hmm.
I just haven't finished. And I will say that the other day, I don't know, in the last week or something, my friend Christine, who lives in New Hampshire, she is a fabric rep. She's the Northeast fabric rep.
Hmm.
She used to be for What's the one that begins with an H? Is it an H? I think it's an H. No, Wyndham. She used to be
Wyndham.
Wyndham. She left Wyndham. Now she's Riley Blake.
Gotcha. Yep.
So her and I, she sent me a retreat up in Vermont and was like, "Come on, let's do it." And it's in June, and we're gonna do it up in Waterville Valley, Vermont.
So LJ just mentioned I've ordered online from Whittles. That is not one I'm familiar with. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I am not familiar with them
There,
either.
I mean, there's so many like really great online stores. Some have gone out of business. Others, that are really great.
So Robin said that Mary's line was supposed to have been released at the end of last year, and I haven't seen it anywhere, so I'm not sure.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I had totally forgotten about it.
Yeah, because I didn't. Now, on the one hand, part of that issue is because Mary Fonz is not good at telling everyone and self-advertising.
Yes.
So it's not like she's not a social media person. So you would expect people to post, "My new line is out," blah, and she's not that person.
Yeah, I will have to. I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna have to follow up on that.
Well, you know something? I could actually just ask my friend Christine if there's a Mary Fonz, because she's the one actually that found the old one for me at Martin's and was like, "Look, here's some Mary Fonz." I was with her shopping in Martin's.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you know what? It is almost 5. My time.
Oh my God.
Our time. My husband is home, and I have to pee.
Wow. That was,
way to
things,
cap off a fun stitch and glitch,
yeah,
right?
of all the things that you've said today, who would have thought that that would be like the, oh.
Oh, LJ has one print of Mary's in the 2016 Springs Creative Group. Okay.
Small Wonders. LJ, that's
Yes.
it. That's the one I have. Small
Wonders. Okay.
Yeah, I have a few prints from that line that I found in a closeout.
Was that around the time that she did her book? She had the her book.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't remember the context. I just remember her mentioning it and like showing some prints on a stream one day, and then I was like, "Oh my God, look!" And then like they had the original like bolt that said like Mary Fonz. So
yeah, I don't remember that I ever saw it. I mean, I do remember on her stream, but just in terms of it being out there in the world, I don't think I ever ran across it.
LJ thinks her book had already been out
now.
for a while. So.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Mary in a hot minute. We need to get her back on my stream or get her on Quilt Nerding.
I was gonna say we should have her on like a dual stream. And we could actually probably just bring her on like one of these days where we're all just kind of like yakking around and doing whatever.
Yeah.
So for anyone that came in late or anything, Stephanie and I had mentioned before that there's an official link out and everything to register for a lecture that we're hosting by curator Pam Weeks from New England Quilt Museum about portable patchwork, and it's a prequel to us reading her book together as a group, and there will be a author interview after that. So if you want to make sure that like you stay on track and you don't miss any of that stuff, then make sure that you sign up for that. Steph just put the link in the chat.
I'm trying to do my job of being a good promoter. Trying to do better.
Yes, sign up for it sooner rather than later so that you don't forget, because it's April 12th, so it's less than a month away.
Like they say, if lines are busy, please be sure to keep calling back.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I will say adieu, my friends. I hope the rest of your weekend is fantastic.
The weather here is so great.
Yeah. Hopefully the sun comes out here, but I will just take what I can get.
Well,
hopefully I'll see you guys on my stream, and if not on my stream, then on Tuesday night for our quilt nerding. So, all right, guys. Bye.